All right, 8:05. We are live. Let's see where we are. Good night. I was going to say good night, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Not good night. It's not good night just quite yet. Welcome to Freethinkers. Give us a second while we take a second to push our feed to our pages and to verify that they are where they're supposed to be. I know mine is not. I see Tiara jumping in. So yay, yay, yay. Hey lady, hey lady. I'm just kind of
Hey
giving a little
y'all,
rundown on how to find us and what to do with us real quick.
I got you.
um, sorry. So if you want to join in the conversation, go to the Freethinkers page. And at the top of the page is the announcement. It's pinned and it gives the StreamYard link. It sure as heck should because I posted it there earlier today. So you click on that, it's free, it opens a window, boom, you come right into the conversation. If you just want to watch, that's cool too. We love the support. You can watch us on Freethinkers page. You can certainly check us out here in a second on Q's personal page, my page as well. If I can get to where I need to get to. We didn't really have a topic tonight, so we're going to freestyle it here. But feel free to get in the conversation, preferably earlier than later. The comments sometimes do pop up here on our screen, so we will try to tend to them. And share this. Share. We don't know what we're talking about quite yet, but it's free thinkers, so it's gonna be good. So for you to share, like, love, join, support. Um, I'm having a hard time with my Wi-Fi. So did you have any luck with us? Have you seen us up there yet?
Let me look. I'm looking right now.
If anybody is
Yes, we are live.
okay, awesome. Well, then the rest can just sit there. My internet is super trippy right now. So long as you see us, then we're good. We'll get up there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's a good thing that this, happened, or that, our little outage happened yesterday and not
So what was
today.
that? I'm not even sure. I'm like, this thing ain't working. What's going on? So what
Oh man,
happened?
that was a hot mess. So I was reading on Twitter. It was a lot of things that they were thinking. It was some type of outage. They believe they were hacked.
They said that.
And I believe they were hacked.
Hell yeah.
But it came at a very kind of questionable time because there was an interview on 60 Minutes.
Oh yeah, I saw that Sunday. Is that Sunday or
Yeah, it was
Monday?
Sunday.
Yeah, I saw.
And she was testifying. I believe
I
she
was like,
testified
woo.
Congress today. I believe it was Congress today or this week.
Okay.
She's supposed to be testifying
But do
about.
you have a problem with her as a whistleblower going national like that? Like CNN in itself is questionable. You know what
Why
I'm
would somebody
saying?
like? What would be the reason a person would have a problem with that?
Say that again.
What is the reason that a person would have her, Edward Snowden, somebody who those whistleblowers, what type of person would what problem would they have with that?
With her going to like CNN?
Or just
No, just
speaking about
in
it
general.
in
In
general?
general, I,
Just
I got a I
whistleblowing.
got a theory on that.
Go ahead.
What I think she was whistleblowing on, far as Facebook, I think kind of really, to be honest, we already really kind of knew, right? Like she was driving she was basically saying how social media is used to divide
Right.
and things to that nature, which I think pretty much anybody on there should know. I mean, there's probably people don't know, but a lot of
But
people
did
should
you hear
know.
her talk about the language barrier issue?
Yeah, like she literally said that Facebook created genocide with the Myanmar revolution. And so that is true, because if you're getting fed your media or your news through one source and it's not fact checked, it can be problematic. And there was a bill that was passed that absolves Facebook from ever getting sued.
Oh, they're in there too.
Yeah, so that's kind of like
Really?
they almost are like now the gun manufacturer company. You think about it, because gun manufacturers, you can't sue the gun manufacturers for.
They're like the vaccine makers. You can't sue them for shit.
So
The
they want
cigarette
people to.
companies.
But far as like whistleblowers in a whole, it can be beneficial, but it also can be very harmful because Snowden definitely
I got the
gave a lot
Snowden
of
part. I understand that, but I don't understand what people will have an issue with her about. But go ahead, I got you.
No, I was just gonna say that Snowden. We're gonna play back.
Sorry, so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So like
I got it to
Snowden
work.
and stuff like that, they can be offering up people that are out on the field,
right,
putting them at risk. Trade secrets, which China is trying to get a lot of our trade secrets and things like that. So it can be like beneficial and then go too far. But I don't think what she did with social media really was that riveting. Like it was something, we didn't know. I don't think it was anybody should have anything wrong with it because it should be common knowledge what social media does and marketing either.
I think it's a difference though. Like I think it's a difference between you kind of knowing something versus really understanding the depths that they're going to create division and turmoil. It's like not only is it happening, it's not like we just turn a blind eye to it. We're inciting it. We're strategically pushing for hatred, opposition, venom, you're pushing for civil chaos. Like you're like Facebook is the devil. We about to get knocked off.
Well, but
you better start finding some code words.
Right. But I'm gonna push back on that, right? Media in general has created chaos. If you think about Tulsa, Oklahoma, what the newspaper had wrote the day the boy was in the elevator with a woman. They created that chaos. They literally put out there that this woman was attacked and they had no proof. So media has always created chaos. Yes, I think you can look at media and look at how they paint on the news stories about people of color. How they paint us out to be, it's always negative stories, nothing positive. So social media, what it just did is it took its realm and added its own flavor to it, to a certain sense, but it's still the same thing.
The sentiment is the same, but now the stakes are higher because now that you have this monopoly, to do this after you have a monopoly now is that much more dangerous. So when you do this at the Tulsa Daily and they spew these lies, that's terrible for Tulsa, but a lot of those things are contained within that area. You're doing this on a national and global level now. You're causing just civil friction between everybody now because you've already weeded out and stomped out all of the competition. So it's nothing but you. And when you're the only person doing it and you the devil, oh man, it's a problem.
Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg has created a beast.
I didn't know what, but I knew the moment they went public, everything was gonna go down.
Yeah,
because now it's all for profit.
It's
all about profit. What you thinking, Nikki?
Oh, I agree, and the only thing that I think I enjoy out of the internet in general is just the access to information and how we receive information and how easily we can get information. Like I appreciate that part of the internet.
But now did you hear the part where she talked about like you might have 1,500 friends, but you're only getting threads for about maybe 100 of them.
Yes.
So they control this access of information. Yes, they're totally right now. They are controlling.
So when you say we got access to information, what
do we?
Our personal well, up until from the time that the internet has started until today, we have generally had an ease of access of information. And now our information is obviously being massively filtered. And that is a problem. The reason I mentioned the language barrier is because I wasn't really honestly listening to anything about this thing that happened yesterday other than, oh, okay, like something happened, Facebook, Instagram was all down, WhatsApp was all down. I didn't really invest a whole lot into it because I already think tinfoil hat thoughts 24/7 anyway. So I'm just like, fucking social media sites are down, but Twitter was up, a couple others were up. You already know that they're like skimming information. You know how many times I've been to jail. You know how many fact check things they put up. I mean, you know how many people's accounts have been, closed out because of the information that is shared. So I mentioned the language. Hold on. So I mentioned the language barrier issue because in all of this, you think about the grand scheme of what Facebook provides. In like some other countries, I don't remember where they said this was, but in some other countries, like WhatsApp is the only way that they actually can communicate with people outside of the country. So like they truly, like, and even economically depend on this WhatsApp availability. Facebook only recognizes 50 of 5,000 languages. The algorithms only recognize 50 of 5,000 languages that I guess have been identified. That means that the stream of information, they are absolutely responsible for what they're sharing. And now they're fine-tuning what they're sharing, and they're misinterpreting what they're sharing. If you only understand 50 of 5,000 languages, you can't disseminate information properly. So now it's become a weapon. So when you say the devil, I agree with you. It's now a weapon.
Question for you, Nikki.
You have a what question?
Additional question.
Okay.
How do you feel personally when you've been repeatedly accused of divisive words and divisive language, now that you see and you know that that's what they do all the time, every day? It's like,
because they're hiding information. I'm not hiding information. I'm disseminating information as well. They are concealing information, hiding information, misinterpreting information, and they're hiding it. That's just the best way to. I mean, there's no other way that you can.
How do you feel about the hypocrisy of it when they accuse you of all these things?
That's about their character, not mine, because I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm sharing information that most people don't know about. Or, for some people, they're kind of like, well, this is interesting. I've been feeling some type of way about, some type of things, woo, woo, woo. But if a person calls, so when people come from me like that, that tells me how they're operating. That ain't got shit to do with me.
But do we really have free access to information? Are we really free?
No,
I don't think we're ever really free.
Not at all. We are in, Tierra. That's the question that I wrote down right now. Tierra, are we in the belly of the beast right now?
Mm-hmm.
So you think
people think that people feel like that too.
No, not just feel like it. You know that you are, because even when these facts are illuminated, what are we doing? Not a damn thing. Where are we at? Still on Facebook.
Yep.
Where are we gonna be tomorrow? Still on Facebook. When somebody spits
in
your face,
but you can choose less. You can control that, and a lot of people, our lives have been set up to accommodate that so much that yesterday people were like yesterday I was cleaning my garage for the first time in 4 years. The one day out of 4 fucking years I decided to purge my garage. I need Facebook Marketplace. I need to post shit for free so I can get it out of my yard. I go online and I'm like, oh, it must be just my crappy Wi-Fi in my garage. About an hour later, I'm like, damn, my Wi-Fi is really tripping, but my Pandora is just moving and moving and moving. So like by 6 no, maybe it was like midday. I was like, oh, everything is down. I'm not in jail. It's not just me. So
I understand you first off you was
anytime something like that happens, I just click on Twitter and I already know what's going on, because Twitter is going to tell you all the time.
See, I'm new to Twitter, so I just thought about that. I'm super new to Twitter, and I didn't even think about going there.
Earlier today, I heard. I don't think I'm like, oh well, it's working. Yeah, so whatever. I just move on to the next thing. Now, what I was gonna say, I haven't seen. I ain't even been drinking.
But we can choose less. Was my point. We can choose less. That was my point. That was my point. We can choose less. Yes, we can. We can reduce our dependence on this shit. Yes, we can. Every day.
And hold on.
Yes, every single day.
Yes. Can we put the lid back on?
Maybe not ever go back on, but we can still control the flow. We can still control our dependency. Yes, we can.
Nikki?
Well, and that's just how I feel. I'm not trying to convince nobody to think like me. That's how I operate.
You are right. We do have control, but I don't like the way that it's worded when people say that. And what I mean by that is, hold on. What I
you
mean
want me
by
to
that
paint it
is,
prettier, put some butterflies and shit on there? I don't know.
People try to act like you got a choice when in reality you do have a choice, but it's not what we're talking about when your only choice is to disconnect from the system altogether. That's not the choice that people talking about when they say you ain't got a choice. But then people be like, well, if you don't like it, just don't do it no more. Oh, so it's just like I have to do away with all of it, period, in order to.
Sometimes you do have to get rid of a whole lot of shit. You do.
But that's not the choice.
And we've talked about this many times. The comfort sometimes has to go. And I understand that that's not a realistic expectation for all people.
I don't like that in response when people say, well, you got a choice. No, when people like, if I make the statement, we don't have a choice. That's not what I'm saying. I know you can anybody. I can pack up at any given time and go head for the hills of Montana,
but that's like the total opposite extreme. That's not like I don't do that.
That's what people are saying. They're like, oh, you.
Well, I mean, in an ideal world, that would be fucking phenomenal. I wish I had me a little cabin in the woods somewhere, but I don't.
Or we can hold these companies accountable.
So those are the things we can do every day, and that's what I'm talking about. That little tiny stuff is a big ripple when it manifests into.
No, you can't.
People, yes, you can.
That's why I'm sorry. Hold monopolies back and along, because once something becomes a monopoly, individuals or small groups of people can push back on it, but the masses will always still support. Individuals are smart, the masses are dumb. They know that, and once they got you tied into any type of monopoly, whether it's Walmart, Facebook, or you name it, then yeah, we can say, oh no, we pushing back, that ain't right. But the masses are still going to go with it. As long as they got the masses, they don't care about the few defectors. That's Matrix Bible 101.
Well, so again, be that as it may, be that as what the majority does, the majority doesn't have to. There are things that we can do tangibly every day, and people think, oh, since I can't do the big grand gesture, then fuck it, I'm just not going to work towards, being a part of the solution, and there are things that we can do every single day. And then one day you get to a point where you're like 2, 5, 6, 10 years into your commitment to, whatever your commitment is to, and it's like, damn, I ain't been to Walmart in like 10 years. Now, is the Walmart company hurting? No, they're not. But if more people, and I realize as the years go on, there are a lot more people who stop going to places like that.
It's not true for the masses.
That doesn't mean that we can't. That doesn't mean that we can't. That doesn't mean that we can't flip that. That doesn't mean that we can't still make an impact.
Yes, the masses know. You're not going to change the masses.
One thing about that big business gets is economies of scale, right? Mm-hmm. What little business can compete with Walmart that has container ships larger than?
Nobody, because it's supply and demand. They provide the supply. We demand it because we continue to use them.
So the alternatives get washed away. Mm-hmm. And when you have real companies that are trying to find alternatives to Facebook, it gets consumed. What Mark does, he took over WhatsApp. Yeah. He took over
Instagram. Yeah.
He's gonna buy you out.
So
it was his competition. Like what?
So that was the thing. It was people coming in and trying to create lanes, beyond Facebook. But what Facebook did well, and he's good business. He's a good businessman. Right. He goes through and he takes those off the playing field. He literally knows how to play chess, and everybody is literally playing checkers at this point.
Good business is only in the interest of the people by mistake. Any good business is never in the interest of the well-being of people. If it is, it's only by mistake. It's only by mistake. It's only by happenstance. If it happens to do good for people, then fine. But as long as it's we only concerned about our bottom dollar. And whether you fight each other, whether you take over you storm into the White House, it don't matter to us.
Mm-hmm. You're right. What was very telling was, I got my Georgia State t-shirt on. I went to Georgia State for business, right? And literally hearing these kids that have been conditioned to understand that the bottom line is about making money for your shareholders, no matter what the cost. right? And we would read these cases, and it would be like the unfortunates of the world. And you are the CEO of the company. And do you take a loss, or do you help the poor, unfortunate souls? And people 9 times out of 10 would say they would only be in it for their shareholders. They didn't give a damn who fell by the wayside. If you can't get a vaccination, oh well, we needed this drug for this reason, not because it cured malaria.
And if Africa, you said the other, then you probably should fail the class.
You have to get up out the class. Listen,
right. That ain't
when we talked about back then, and it was been a talk a long time ago about raising the living wage, right? And these people fought me tooth and nail, said there's no reason to increase it. Like, that will put people out of business. I was like, how? So these are the new future business leaders of the world. Don't give a damn about anybody. Mark Zuckerman don't give a damn about people.
And I got that in watching her interview. That's the one thing I took from that, is these people don't give a fuck about other people.
So what?
Like you said, chess, like total fucking pawns. Like, what?
So you got a genocide that really started because of the way this media is played out on this actual platform, and you don't care. It's a part of the people. Well, it's going, that's just a small price to pay for everything else that we get from it. And that's the thing. They literally, in the class, we would weigh out, is it bad? Can we live with it? What's the benefit? Is this, and I'm like, how can you guys have such low morals?
So, okay, hold on. So the question, Nikki, Ivory, Tierra, with this newfound information, whether you were suspicious or now you see someone that was on the inside and they've confirmed some of your suspicions, what are you going to do with this information?
Well, you know what? I did take a hiatus from social media for 6 years. It wasn't nothing to me, honestly. I was in the groundbreaking floor when Facebook first started on college campuses. It was new. It was fun. It was different then. Like, Facebook today was nothing like that. And it became toxic. And I said, I'm going to step away. It was the most joyous time I've ever had. If more people unplug, it would be beneficial. But more
you're not getting hatred forced down your throat.
It was beautiful. And the problem is, people now become dependent on it. It saves their passwords to get into something else, their banking information.
Right.
It's got your pictures on it.
They know what they're doing.
It's your life.
Can you think about having a best friend that live with you, around you all the time, and all they do all day is instigate fights with you, instigate you fighting with your other friends.
Who does that? Ew.
Facebook.
No. Oh God, no.
That's what they do. They're instigating. That's all they do. And they're like, hold on, what's gonna get Nikki mad? We know we get her mad. Let's go about this, and then turn around and suspend you after
in a minute.
They put that post in front of you because they knew it was gonna spark a reaction out of you.
Somebody, they allowed it to be on there. It's always interesting how you can share something from their site, but the minute you share it, they ban you.
Promoting.
No, not just allow it to be there. They directed that. They signed, sealed, delivered, and sent it directly to you.
They co-signed on that shit. Right. That's what algorithms are. I mean, I and I get that. I understand that. You said, can we get up the internet, or can we give up social media?
Saying, what are you gonna do with this information that you have? Even the confirmation of this information.
I mean, this was not no new ass shit to me. I mean, if anybody's putting faith in something like Facebook and their privacy, or misunderstanding what we are giving up when we agree to the terms of service, like, we already know that our phones listens. Hell, I told my son today, I said, I think the fucking TV's listening. We were literally in the kitchen talking about volcanoes and UFOs, and I was telling him about some shit I've been reading lately. I literally, conversation ends. Absolutely. I walk into my living room, I sit on the couch, I turn on fucking Hulu, and What We Think You Should Like was literally the very first documentary was UFO and volcanoes, and I was like, you've got to be. I said, son, I swear to God, I said, look at the TV. He was like, you were just talking about that. So we know what we're giving up. So we also have to be willing to give up some of those luxuries, comforts, and some of those things that we've become so dependent on, and it's not a bad thing, but it a lot of people feel like, oh, it's no big deal, but then when you realize, damn, this is how I talk to a large majority of family. This is how I engage with my fans. This is how I engage with my customers. This is how I engage with potential customers. Like, there's definitely benefits to communities like Facebook, but I would love to just not have social media and actually try to figure this shit out the way we used to, but that's probably not going to happen. But I'm on a Facebook hiatus too. After my last little jail stint, I was like, I'm not going back. I'm receiving way too much negative energy. I'm not in a good space in my own head. So like the negative energy and the people, it's a good time to break free. So I've been baking and cooking and I've been doing, stuff around here, but like it served its purpose, I feel like. And now it's become the weapon. So I have no issue with putting it down a little bit, aside from Freethinkers and the Dessert House, to be completely honest.
Oh, I'm gonna double down on you in a second, nigga.
Go ahead.
No, I ain't gonna do it yet.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Hold on just a second. Tier, hold on just a second. Edward, look in the link.
Yeah, it's
right
pinned at the top of the page.
It says how to join live link, and then it's a link right underneath the it's above the little
I tagged you. Check your notifications.
Yeah, you gotta copy the link and put it in your another web browser. I mean, put in a.
Okay, maybe that's it.
Yeah, you can't just click on the link from the post that I posted. Wow!
I can, but sometimes it depends.
So if your automatically directs you to Safari, then you don't. But like mine is, I actually go to Google or something, so I have to copy it and put it in Safari.
Yeah. So
wow, okay.
Let me tell you how dangerous the internet is, right? So Friday, I get a knock on the door, right? And I'm not really one to answer the door, right? But the knock just it was, they continue to knock. So I look out. There's 3 officers standing out in front of my door. This is Friday, y'all. This is Friday. This is what happened to me Friday.
What time Friday?
This is about 5-ish.
Okay.
You opened the door for the police?
Yeah, because they would not stop knocking. So
okay.
I 3 officers, looking at, I'm looking crazy, like, what the fuck? Excuse my language.
Go ahead.
And so they have this spot, this folder out, and they have my fiance's picture on it. Okay. So I'm like, what is going on at this point? I'm totally like, and they said
scared or something. Shit.
Yeah. So they was like, is Marquette home? And that's not his name, that's his middle name. And I say, excuse me, I don't know who you're talking about. He said, D'Angelo. I was like, no, he was in the bedroom. But I said, no. What's going on? And they were like, well, we got a flag from the IP address that was registered to this house through Comcast that a 5-year-old girl is tied up in your home. Yes. And so I'm looking like, are you kidding me at this point?
Holy shit.
Is this a joke? Like, I'm really thinking like, this is like, I don't even know what to
think. But they send the local police? What?
It's three officers. And so I'm like,
I want to check your house.
They literally, I'm telling them, I was like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. This sounds crazy. So we get done talking. I'm like, they were like, because I've been on the computer and stuff like that, but none of us are sending any messages to that degree. So they had to check my house to make sure that there was not a 5-year-old tied up in my home.
Did they have a warrant?
They didn't have a warrant, but I was just at that point. I was
right,
just like,
right, okay.
Because the
seriousness. Come back with the SWAT team.
Yeah, I just can't believe that. I just can't believe that somebody other than the fucking local police came. Like, but How did they get that wrong? So since you clearly got the wrong fucking address and wrong IP information, how did you get that wrong?
I have no idea. It was literally like,
how must make you feel like somebody messing with you?
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, so who's playing games at this point? Because that's serious. Whoever did that knew the cops were going to come out to my home.
How do you mess with somebody's IP address? Like,
girl,
how does that fucking happen?
It happens more than you know.
What if like your son was home by himself and y'all were gone and these people show up like that? Like, girl, I'm not believing that. Oh my God.
That's what scared me most. I'm like, thank God I was working from home. I'm home. All this stuff, but literally was sitting 3 cops asking me questions and things about, is there, like, seriously believing it's a 5-year-old girl tied up in my house and kidnapped.
Oh my God.
Friday, y'all. I was literally, because remember I told you I was gonna make an announcement Friday. I couldn't even make it because I was just like, so like it sent my stress levels to the roof.
And then I'm like, don't just come over here talking about that. I need to know. You need to further this investigation and find out who did this.
Right. Exactly. Where the girl at? Where's she at? Go find her.
And that's the thing. They want to ask you these questions. They'll never tell you nothing about
tell me the whole deal.
Yeah.
So after, because like I said, I was stressed out the whole Friday. So I tried to call myself going back up there Saturday, but they don't. Their Milton Police is like a Monday through Friday where you can go into the actual precinct. So tomorrow I'm going back up there. I need some further clarity because that's scary for something like that to happen. They
clear that up.
Literally had my fiance's picture.
Wow.
And was like, yeah, they're saying that some 5-year-old is literally went through opening trying to really make sure no one is in this damn house.
Wow.
He said,
did they have y'all's picture too, or just his picture?
Just his.
What the fuck? No.
Just his.
That just don't sound right at all.
So, and the funny thing,
dangerous. You're right. It's dangerous as shit.
D'Angelo was in the bed, right, asleep, and they probably walked past him like, didn't you just tell us? And
whatever. Shit, y'all allowed to lie, so am I, bitch.
I'm not gonna let y'all know. I just know how police are. I don't even want them problems. No, he's not here. Because I didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't want to give out that information.
Yeah, they come to your house with his picture. What the fuck? Why are you here? Why you got that?
And then so my silly ass, like a couple days later, I laughed at him. I said, "Are you not a serial killer or something that I need to know?"
Right.
You right. We get engaged. Maybe I need to do a little investigation, but no, just like
shit. There's some things you haven't told me yet.
But that's the type of stuff that the internet, the dark web is so dangerous. That's why my son didn't do social media. My son don't have social media.
Mine don't either.
And he's well of age, but it's
right.
It's toxic.
Well, and he's obviously made it to 18 being a normal social human, so he doesn't need social media to get his view of the world per se, you know, like he functions as a human who has relationships with other humans as opposed to, you know, people who have their hand in, you know, their face 24/7. Like they're literally like, there's a chemical addiction to his fucking engagement to social media, you know, like kudos to him for not needing it. I will keep my children off as long as I possibly can. My daughter didn't have a phone until she was like, I want to say like 8th grade or something. My boys don't have phones. They don't use social media. Like I'm sure they probably look at TikTok, you know, but like they don't have social media. I don't even know. It's dangerous. You're right. Kudos to you for encouraging him to just not get on that shit, you know? You see how it damages people, especially girls. Especially, not to say it doesn't happen for boys, but girls get crushed on social media. Like it's just so unfair. Terrible. It's like the biggest bullying system ever.
It is. Quentin, your oldest, what age would you let them to have social media pages?
I don't know. I think my son got one now.
How old is he?
12.
Which one does he have?
Facebook. He don't use it. He don't use it.
Oh, okay.
He don't be on.
Yeah, no, he don't. He not interested.
He's not
really
engaged.
Interested.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Do they have cell phones?
No, but
yeah.
I'm starting to. I may get him one in the next couple of years, year or two.
Well, when you live in different houses, it's important to be able to reach him, especially when he's age appropriate.
Right, so, and if something ever happened, I want him to be able to.
Right, at the end of the day, it's like telling your kid, "I'll come pick you up wherever. Here's here's the car, here's a driver."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Ivory, how old do you
get a phone to share?
Do what?
They gonna get a phone to share.
Right, they so close in age. Y'all better share this phone.
Yeah, I don't need nobody feeling no ownership over no phone. I don't want you sending no messages you thinking ain't nobody else gonna read. Doing it's a family. You will share this family phone. So if you going somewhere and the rest of them at home, here's a family phone.
What it's gonna be like in 10 years though, because you got at least 10 years before you even got to worry about this. Like what it's gonna be like in 10 years is
oh my god,
can't even grasp the concept of what technology is gonna be like in 10 years. Our kids are gonna be like, a fucking cell phone? What is that?
Right. We just have earpieces now that just call Ivory.
Right.
And then it's gonna be a whole thing, just simulations that go in their face.
Oh right. Oh God!
Do you think it would be comfortable? You would be comfortable with the girls having social media?
No.
And so that's the no age.
I mean, once they're, I would say, but I think maybe their last year they're with me, maybe. So we're talking about 16, 17. I might consider it, but not.
Yeah.
I think that like that junior high kind of beginning high school age is.
You don't want social media molding your kids, and they get so.
Like that's when they
take so much weight in it too. Like everything somebody say and what
really
people
need
doing
to build their esteem, and I just don't see anything about social media because I have my friends' kids and kids from church. Like I'm on their social media. I see what they go through when the posts they put up and. It's just not. No.
Right. You see, number one, I didn't sign off on my son getting a Facebook page. That happened without me knowing.
Right.
And then when I found out he was on there, then I ain't make a big deal of it because he don't be on there. He don't really care. So, but if it was, then that probably would be more of an issue for me. Like, if he was active on it, then I'd probably force him to be off of it.
Yeah,
and none of my kids. Well, he's the only one at the time. I don't know. Try to mute it. But my son can't have no passwords. So on your tablet, on your computer, or anything that you do, you don't you ever put a password on there. Don't you ever put no lock on your phone, nothing. If it forces you to have a password, I need to know. You need to tell me exactly what that password is.
Yep. That part.
Yeah. It's just social media, especially for kids. We got to realize we're giving up a little bit of their privacy and their information too, and it's for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like photos you put up there.
We see they keep that information. We know that they're using it for something. So yeah.
So you think about predators, right? You think about predators as far as like sexually harming your kids, but far as information predators, they exist as well, and they're just as dangerous, if not more, because they manipulate your kids' minds, program them what they believe to be real and not real. And so I don't think I mean there's no laws to protect kids from that, but
and listen, the good predators is manipulating grown people's minds. So predators got ladies.
But it goes back to money.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's like on games. So on Black TikTok, I saw that earlier where Smack was talking about how the Austin police was like, we not coming to your house if you call 911 for, you know, if you're getting robbed or if this happened or if prostitution or somebody do. And I'm like, yeah, of course not. All of that stuff, but they still gonna be out on the highway pulling people over and writing tickets because that's bringing in money to them. Mm-hmm. But anything that ain't bringing in money, then they like, no, we're not coming out there. We're not responding because they throwing a fit and they trying to prove a point, thinking that they're gonna scare people into the whole defunding the police type of thing. They want to scare you, but it's like, yeah, anything that ain't directly bringing you in money, then yeah, of course. But those things that you get money, you gonna keep doing them.
What's so much bullshit about that APD situation? #APD. They got their money back. Like they got defunded and they got back some money that they had initially got defunded. So if you got your money back, why the fuck y'all not doing your job? Now you want to throw a fit and you want to punish the city? You want to punish the city? You want to talk about how we're on our 64th or, excuse me, how we're on our 64th or 65th murder this year? Like we've reached our highest murder rate for this time of the year, like since like 1984 or something. Like there's literally a shooting every weekend. I'm not saying Austin's a dangerous place. I'm just saying, how dare you sit up there in your fucking building and be like, oh, well, we're not going to come if you call us. Well, we don't want to call you sons of bitches anyways, to be completely honest, but we do because you have one job. And you're paid by taxpayer dollars. You got your money back from being defunded. Why are you not going to do your job? I get them not coming to, oh, my car got broken into. Well, chances are you're never going to have that crime be solved. So go file Nikki, with your insurance. If you don't have insurance, well, that's the risk we take when we Nikki. Don't. Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but could that be one of those things again where... What? Social media ignites, just like police officers.
Social media revealed the truths of policing.
But social media for people who, you know, are all about the blue lives matter. Don't you think that they get a different set of posts and comments and threads that incite them, and everything that they see is we hate the police and police ain't never did nothing a day in their life and the only good police is a dead police. Like all this crazy, they probably getting all the crazy stuff, negative stuff, because it's going to incite a reaction. So now they feel like it's us against the world. Because again, social media is the one just instigating everything, making it, and especially it will be one thing when you see some people that don't like us and some people that don't like certain events the way that this happened, but there's a huge amount of people who support us, but they're not going to show that ain't coming down your thread because like the woman said, we need to do things that's going to prompt a response. And the truth is, if we show them the things that's nice and lovely and of a good rapport, I'm using Bible scriptures and stuff like that, they're going to get bored with us. And they're not going to be as interested in participating on this page. So we got to get them riled up. We don't care whether you super love it or you super hate it, but you got to feel some type of way. I heard Ivory tell me this a long time ago when I was dealing with a relationship. The worst thing you could do is to be indifferent towards somebody. That's what people hate. You can't be indifferent.
And it's the language of... It's the language around a lot of things. It's not what we do, it's how we say it a lot of times. We live in a world now where it's only so many characters you get to write to kind of give you your thought. And that really is not a good thing to do. When you say defund the police or critical race theory, it sounds incendiary. It sounds like problematic
until you know what it is. So when you educate yourself on what that means, then you realize, it's not as bad as people sensationalize.
That's another conditioning mechanism.
Right. So becoming part of the solution versus not being part of the solution.
You know what I had to get my daughter off of?
What?
Now they do got these little shorts. Like, we know your attention span so short now, we just give you these 10, 15-second clips and we just go from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another. And because that's how short people's attention span. So it don't matter how much truth and knowledge is out there. If it's longer than a 4-minute clip, people ain't gonna take the time to
Well,
even listen
most
to it.
people
They
aren't
don't
going to
even
take
have
the
to
time.
read
Oh
books
yeah, a lot of
anymore.
people won't take the time anyways.
But just
and
to
them
listen to
other
something in
stupid
totality.
videos, kids watching other kids play with stuff. I had to
God,
know.
I
You
hate that. I
cannot
hate that.
watch
I
another
don't get it.
kid
I
Yes.
do not
play
fucking
with
get it.
stuff. Like that's
I
not.
don't
We're
get it.
not going to do that. But it's again the same kind of lack of imagination.
Right.
Yes. And that is that sound bite, the bite-sized type of media world we live in, where we really don't get to understand concepts and ideas, and we're not critical thinkers anymore because we don't have the attention span to handle it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're
Why
trying
you
to
need to go to
summarize
church.
ideas. Right,
Church
you be there.
Wrong.
church-
Wrong.
Get attention span at church.
Wrong.
more so attention span.
You gotta go through stages. You
Shit,
there,
no.
you sleep, you up, you know. But the
Well, and I
thing
was
is,
gonna. I'll say also you gotta just. I mean, and not that people are gonna do it, but you have to make sure you are a well balanced person, and not just because. Okay, I lean a little bit more this way. Okay, I got some ideas about defunding the police. I have some ideas about like really make sure you're understanding both sides of an argument, understanding nuance. Like, just be a more well rounded person. Don't be like, oh yeah. So then everything the other person is saying is a lie or a crock. No, there's some truth in what everybody says. But most of the time, it's those extremes. And people love to live on the extreme for some reason.
You think people have the ability to just make themselves well-rounded?
no.
If you read, yes, read something.
They ain't gonna
Actually,
they're
will
gonna
make
read
you well-rounded.
They're gonna
Right.
read stuff that reiterates their echo chamber.
Yes. Thank you, Tierra.
That's the only thing. You know what we need to bring back? There's classes.
Maybe I'm not talking about online stuff. Online articles do just reinforce a thing. I'm talking about like read an actual book. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
people ain't doing that
I
either.
get, and even then, you can find books that cater to the
Right.
things that you want to, gain more knowledge on.
You can only be well-rounded if you self-reflection. How many people self-reflect every day?
No, they don't. One class I think we need to bring back to school is debate class and have debate teams. And you were forced to pick a side, even though you may not agree with it.
I loved it.
I'm for guns.
They didn't have that in MacArthur, did they, Ivory?
No, I had a debate
I
class
wish they
in
had
college.
that in high school.
They didn't do it in high school, but in college I had one, and I had to debate for abortion. And y'all know how pro-life I am. Oh, but I killed them. But I mean, it makes you research something outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need civic classes because people don't even understand how the government really works. They are so hell-bent on presidency and not even voting in their local elections. Like these things is where we miss as a society teaching, and we have the ability to do. Like,
we need to set up an actual debate.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
We're gonna do that. That's weird. We're gonna pick a topic and then we're gonna spin a wheel. Somebody got to be for, somebody got to be against, and then you get
told. I'll just take.
Right. You don't get to choose. You don't get to choose.
I'll just take the time. I'll take the minutes.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna start.
I won't participate.
Maybe y'all can help do that since y'all done did it.
Shit, I'm not gonna get to no fight with nobody.
That's we're gonna.
Oh no, it's so well. And no, Nikki, what it did because in the debate, like a
I
debate,
know.
It's not like going back and forth. Like
right.
This person gets this amount of time, then you get rebuttal time, then it's rebuttal time, and then it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. That's let me write this down.
When I say
get it cracking,
really, some of the best things I have had conversations with is like those debates where you choose a chose a topic you're not really comfortable with, and you have to speak to it. And it's a very good learning process, you know what I mean? Because like a lot of people are not challenged even to support their own claims. Like if I'm for gun control, why am I for gun control? You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people don't even have those tools to be able to even debate their own point of view. And so those healthy debates are good for just being able to communicate efficiently with each other. Where a lot of people, we don't talk we don't talk to each other, we talk at each other. And I think the debate is a little bit different. It'll help with that.
We doing that. That's gonna be fun. I'm telling you, it's already made up in my mind. That's gonna be fun.
You want to try to do it before the holidays?
I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
Which holiday?
Shit, I'm just saying that the holidays they coming up.
Yeah. What's early?
Pick one. We're in the last quarter. Pick one. Pick two.
Absolutely.
Pick 3.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
What? Okay. So I wanted to. Where are we at? I wanted to talk about. It was probably Tierra, because Tierra always the one throwing the spicy stuff out there. Or no. I think it was somebody else. Who was it that wrote the one about the NBA player that's paying like $200,000?
Oh yeah,
Matt. That was Matt.
That was Matt. Okay.
Matt was mad.
Matt was mad.
Rightfully so. Shit. I mean, to a certain degree, but I'll shut up.
The responses that I got from that is just kind of it blows my mind. Yes. So what blows my mind is, and I've stated this before, and I think women do this more than men. Let me get myself in trouble by saying that. Women,
fellas, where y'all at?
My ears is perked up. Women,
fellas, where y'all at?
Me too. I be like, wait a minute.
I push my buds in.
Okay. So women, so many times they will speak to the moral side of a thing, right or wrong. Should you do this? Should you not? But then when it comes to either men or things that they don't care about as much, or rich people or whatever it is, they don't talk about the moral side of it. They just talk about the legal side of it. Well, that's the law. You know what the law is. You shouldn't. It's like, hold on. You always moral when it's something that you are, that you feel passionate about. But when it's something that you're not passionate about, or you're against it, or you don't mind it happening, then you just speak to the legal side of it. Well, that's what the law say. And I'm like, that's like you flip-flopping on the angle of your stance. That irritates me. That really irritates me when I hear people always more. So let me give a simple example.
Well, it's one-sided.
Let me give a simple example.
It stays one-sided.
Think about the Bill Cosby thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Cosby went to jail. All right, he got convicted. It was a law. Yes, you go to jail because you wrong, you bad, you did this.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they had to overturn that law because they did something screwed up they wasn't supposed to do, then people try to take the moral route. Oh, well, he bad. You still shouldn't say nothing about him. And then they tried to, they start throwing rocks at Felicia Rashad because she said injustice was righted and this and this. And it's like, so now you're taking a moral because morally you feel he was wrong. It don't matter what the law said or they reversed or whatever. It's like you flip-flop all the time. That gets on my nerves. I don't like that. You can't be he's morally bad 1 second or you just say legally because that's what the law said, and then you turn around and say, well, no, you still can't champion him, or you still can't say he's right because we know I feel in my heart that he's bad. I don't like it. Just choose a side. Are you strictly gonna stay to the law all the time, or are you gonna stay morally what's right? And the whole law thing is just jacked up anyway because we know the law is twisted all the time.
I think those lines can be blurred sometimes. I think sometimes
a
lot of laws
to blur those lines.
I think a lot of laws are based on moral standards that that people or the society has deemed acceptable. So there is some ways to get around those laws, and a lot of people have. But I do believe some of the laws and principles are based on our community laws. I mean, our American society laws.
OJ was a perfect example too. White people always, hey, he went to court and the jury found them guilty, and all the black men who was guilty. Hey, he had his day in court and the courts found him guilty. But then when OJ got off, this motherfucker, then it was like all that he went through the process that was thrown out the window, and they ain't want to hear nothing about no process. They was like, how dare this monster, this and this and this and that. And it's like, oh, well, what about you? Always pointed to the law. The same thing. Remember Rodney King before that? Well, yeah, he had his trial.
Then maybe you answered your question. I think it's a human condition for people to do that.
Not a woman condition.
I don't like humans.
And you gotta remember, these laws are created by white people and, more importantly, males. So a lot of times they're based off of class, sex, and race. And so, of course, those that are the beneficiaries of that is going to see anytime any deviant from it is wrong, because it was made for them.
Anytime it doesn't benefit them.
Yeah, it was made for them. So, of course, when they see something out of whack, they like, wait. This is wrong. In the case of gentlemen that had the large child support, I think what a lot of people just find where it's like, oh, well, it's because he has the ability to not sleep with someone unprotected.
Oh God, Jesus. He was married to her.
Not that one. I don't think that's what we're talking about.
Yes, he was.
That's his ex-wife.
Immediately after.
Yeah. Knowing. I mean, there's so many layers to why I think people feel emotionally the way they do about cases like this. Does that make it right? No, because a standard is a standard, and the standard goes for both men and for women in a lot of situations. At least I feel like. But this little dumbass little boy, for whatever reason, I don't know where his mom was, his sisters.
Everybody
I don't know
who get married is dumb.
No, he married a hoe, for real. He married a gold digging. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. This is what she did.
Publicly a hoe, though, Quentin.
Like, she literally talked about how this was her come up. This was what she was trying to do, was secure the fucking bag.
He did no research. Because she was.
He didn't need to, but what he knew, and he still married this girl. But that doesn't mean that she should get $200,000 a month. She is a predator. I think there's something wrong with her. I have not liked her from day fucking one. She actually needs to have her child taken from her, because if you watch any of the things that she puts out on social media, that bitch is literally crazy. Like, she really is.
Something is wrong with her.
There's something wrong with her. I'm not saying that she's not a victim of some. She's a victim of some sort. I thoroughly believe. But you're right, Ivory. She is a predator.
She's a predator.
She preyed on that little boy.
But this is why it ain't fair. Because now she's a professional going up against the amateur. Do you know why? You know why a lot of these men fall in love with these strippers? Because they're not professional strippers. They are professional chameleons.
They're liars. They're manipulators.
They know exactly what they need to say to a man. They know how to
predator, just like Ivory said. She's a fucking predator. That just call her what she is. She is a predator.
But that's my point, though. And this he don't know no better.
He should have. There's no reason. Because it was well known. Like, if you in your circle and you just know some stuff about some stuff in your circle, you know some stuff.
Somebody who's a professional, they can convince you that all of this bad.
I mean, you're right. We can all get swindled by a good liar. A good liar.
This guy used to treat me wrong, and everybody did me terrible.
But predators.
I see your point.
Predators.
This is for anybody who's young in high school, their senior year. But I'm saying these are choices we all had to make when we were young, when it came to an older person trying to seduce us. Some of us got seduced, some of us didn't get seduced. It's a choice. Every young person, there's always somebody in their car after school, at the school, R. Kellyan. Always at every school.
Absolutely.
There's some female and male R. Kellys at every high school. And everybody at that school has to make a choice whether you get in R. Kelly's car or not.
So, but now hold on. It was maybe I was in the same seat. Well, this seat that was bought for me. This went the same. I was in the same spot around this time about a year ago, and we had a similar conversation, but it was about this heartbroken kid named August Alsina.
And I said it was a predator.
Right.
But Ivory, there was a lot of people on this live who was like, well, whatever. So it's like they didn't take the same, like there's not the same sensitivity with her, like when it happens to a male than it is with a woman.
Well, some people are bruised, I think, in their thinking, and it does.
Nikki, I'm sorry. Let me just paint the full picture, because around that same time, I think Marcus Houston, some 40-year-old man, was about to marry this young girl, and there was a lot of people who had issue with that.
Hell
what are you doing with that young girl? Why he just?
I didn't have an issue with that. I'm sorry.
I'm saying there's a lot of people that did. I'm bringing the full
What
picture.
about what about right now? The Honey Boo Boo girl is 16 and she's got a 20-year-old boyfriend, and they're like going all over the place public with it. Like,
he's stupid.
You talk about people have choice, and you're right, they do.
He was black.
But
he already be in jail.
He is black, actually.
He is black.
He is. He actually is.
Oh, he dumber than I thought he was.
I mean, whatever state they're in. No, whatever state she's in. Like, the legal consent is 16.
That's so funny.
If a parent when you get married, you can do that, but I don't think you can.
No, the age of, I don't know, it's legal, so they've gone all over the internet, of course, with their
16, 20. They the same age.
No, they're not.
Yes,
no, they're not.
Listen,
no,
Nikki,
they're not.
Nikki,
Wait till 20-year-old is hitting on your 16-year-old daughter.
Nikki,
no, they're not.
Nikki, a 20-year-old
no, they're not.
and a 16-year-old. Usually, the 16-year-old is a 16-year-old
still
girl
in high school. Still in high school.
Usually more mature than a 20-year-old man.
I wish we stopped saying that about girls.
Right?
Because
right?
they are not. When the last time you talked to a 16-year-old girl? They're a kid.
I had a 16-year-old girl. She's now 24. Like, we just coming around that train of, okay. No, they're not.
I'm not talking about the high school basketball or football player
but
or the
popular.
I'm talking about the average 20-year-old boy.
Are you talking about the little dork? Little dorks.
Not even the dork. Just the average 20-year-old boy is less experienced. I guarantee you, when I was 20 years old, there's 16 years old who's had twice as much experience relationally, sexually, all type of stuff than I was, and they would have been more aware of things relationally than I ever was. I was so green relationally at 20 years old.
We have to stop doing that to our little girls. We have to stop making them the idea that they are more mature. And I think we get that because women are taught at a very early age to be homemakers and how to take care of, cook and clean. Wait. So they were able to take care of a home, and men and boys weren't that responsible. They didn't have those responsibilities. So a lot of times girls were looked at as mature because they could cook dinner, they could wash clothes, they
can raise babies.
They were doing a lot more stuff than boys. Didn't mean they were mentally mature. It's just they had different responsibilities that you see had more responsibilities as adults than most boys did at that same age. And I think that's why people think women are mature than men. And it's not the truth.
That's not where I was going at all. I'm talking about from a relational and sexual standpoint. Chris Rock said every guy that you knew been trying to do you since you was 13.
But that don't mean she been doing them. So that don't mean she got experience and maturity. She just been dealing with a different set of tools because she have to.
It don't mean that you've been doing anything, but it means that you recognize angles differently than a male does a lot of time. Men don't, the average guy don't have those type of relationships 16, 17, 18. And we don't know like how even at 16 girls have been approached by, like, y'all get approached by dudes so many, y'all know, like, even before you see them come around the corner, you know how to recognize game.
You know why?
Unfortunately, unfortunately.
We developed very early. So you have a girl that is
through experience,
12 like me. Yeah, because we had to deal with a lot more.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying, but that didn't make me more mature. It just is like I had to deal with stuff I shouldn't have had to deal with because my breast became big, because I became fully figured at a 12-year-old body. You know, I mean, a 12-year-old mind in a fuller figured woman body. And then I had to deal with that creepy crap. That didn't mean I was more wiser.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? It's just
But you
because
said,
I was,
yeah,
had it coming my direction. Thank God my mom and loved ones around me kind of sheltered me to a certain extent, and I stayed in a kid place. But a lot of girls didn't get that experience. And when you had uncles and daddies coming after 14-year-olds because they were already then had a cycle or two and breasts started growing and all this stuff. Yeah, you think
But
these girls are
even
mature,
at
they're
16,
really not.
yeah, I know what you mean. I ain't saying you like a woman grown, but I'm saying in comparison, like a 16 to a 20-year-old, even girls, by the time a lot of you were 16, you already developed certain rules. You knew how, no, I'm not going to this park by myself. My homegirl got to go with me. I'm not going to this guy's house. I got to bring somebody. There's certain rules because over a long enough period of time and experience, you know the way men work, you know the way dogs work, you know the way predators work, and you see things that the average men, if a predator woman come around the corner at 8, she like me. We dumb enough to actually think she like me. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, what you want me to do? And you over there, you giving your paycheck, you doing anything because you're totally green. You don't have that. You haven't had that repetitious experience that a lot of girls have had from a much younger age than you.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I completely know where you're coming from. I still would say this, and this might be from being extremely sheltered for so many years. I stayed green so long. When I say I made so many bad decisions, like as far as positions I put myself in, just thankfully none of it turned out bad. So I think you might be giving women a little bit more credit than they deserve because, oh God, if I can think back on
I might be. I stayed a little
small pea brain things I did in regards to put myself in bad positions. But I do understand your point of women know what it feels like for attention to come at us, where many men don't know what that feels like for attention to be like showered upon you in that way, and you're not the one showering it.
We don't respond
and so
to it at all.
They don't know how to respond to attention being showered their way, especially from somebody beautiful and desirable. Like they don't know what that feels like, and so they can be easily, especially from an older woman, it's very easy to manipulate a younger man when he finds you attractive and you're older. You have to just choose not to do it because they might like you. I've had a younger guy like me before, and I'm just like, absolutely not. I'm going to mold you, shape you. It's not fair. Like, I wouldn't do that to you. And I wouldn't do it on purpose, but I know what I like. And you young, you're not it. So I will make you. Just, it's not right.
So let me break this down since we didn't actually break it down. In a situation like this, $200,000 a month. Is that fair?
No.
Nah.
No. What the hell you need 200? I mean,
no, it don't cost no $200,000 a month to raise a baby.
This is the thing. The thing I hate about America. I always say these terrible statements up front. But the thing I don't like is they just because things have been done a certain way, you make it as if it has to be black or white. Yeah, it's okay. No, it's not okay. No, there's a middle ground. The baby don't need $200,000 a month. Now, if you're going to force a trust fund of a certain amount of time to where when the child turns 18, then he can access. There's ways that you can do this that makes sense. But just giving the mama $200,000 a month for whatever, that's not for the baby to live. The baby can live, quite fine with not that amount of money. I'm sorry, Terry, what were you gonna say?
And see, this is where fathers, and I know the court system is rigged, right? And everything that's precedent kind of just everything after it just follows suit. But fathers have more say than they think, but a lot of them just don't push the issue. Like, if I gotta pay you $200,000, give me my baby.
$20,000 a month. Yeah, give me my kid.
Give me my baby. What I need,
Right.
like, why am I paying you all? And guess what? I'll take my kid, and you ain't even got to pay me child support. How about that?
Right.
But see, this is the problem. A lot of men do not fight for those
You
custody
think
rights.
she was gonna sign off for that?
No. It's not that she was going to, but you
She
need to
knew
try
what
to.
she was doing.
I would
He
fight
wasn't
for
getting
Well,
that.
of
He wasn't
course
getting
she
that
knew what
kid.
she was doing, so he need to take that
He's
$20,000. He
traveling.
finna pay her and get his ass
He's
a
always
lawyer
on the
and go
road.
get his kid from that woman.
Yeah, because all you do is show the videos and stuff she put
Yeah,
online.
and now there's plenty of evidence to support she needs to have a mental evaluation of some sort. So for right now, we finna put this kid with you, and we're gonna go from there. And let her spin out of control. She needs to get some help. But no, that $20,000 a month just because the percentage of what he makes is bullshit. And I think that anybody who's like, well, that's what he makes. I think you have to look at how people operate when they say shit like that. Because yes, of course, it's based on a percentage of what you make, but $20,000 a month is far more than what it costs to raise a child. That is now supporting, somebody else's lifestyle, which, I get it, but I don't. There's an overreach on that shit too, and that is absolutely one of those cases where it's overreach.
Is
And I
she
think
just
that,
getting child support, or is it spousal support too?
see, I don't know. I just know it's $20,000 a month, and that's all I know.
No, let's say 200K a month.
No, 200,000. I thought it was 20,000. Damn, am I wrong?
Money he making? What kind of money he
Even
making?
fucking more. 200,000.
Well, Dr. Dre paying like $2 million a month right now.
Well, but they were also
Keeping
together
the
for
people.
2 decades. There's
Yeah,
a
They wasn't
difference when you're
together.
with
That's a little
somebody.
They
different.
wasn't together
That's a
doing
li-
the chronic.
It don't matter.
But
There's a
she was there
difference.
during the Apple Beats. She was down with Apple Beats where he made
And
a lot of his
you know how
bread.
that shit go.
He
We talking about
produced
this man
Doggy
met
Style.
this
Yeah,
little
she
boy
wasn't-
met this girl. She got pregnant, had the baby. He got married, and she raped his fucking pockets. And I don't know how anybody can really justify that. It's not any cooler for her than if it was a dude. But you're right. The comments on that particular post, it was interesting. So when you were like, let's talk about it, I was like, hell yeah, let's talk about it.
I was just thinking we was just still talking about kids. Did anybody watch Miss Annette's video with the lady fussing with her son in the car? Did y'all see that one?
I didn't see that.
I was gonna
okay.
say that
We
for
can talk
30
about
minutes
it
bread. I
another
never
time.
got to it.
It's long,
Mm-mm.
so I had to skip around. But
It's a long
Oh,
video.
the white woman. I saw like the first couple of minutes. Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing.
Is that on Freethinkers page?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
She
Okay, I'll have
posted
to
on
go watch
Freethinkers.
that.
But okay. I'll just synopsis really quick. She's talking. Her 14-year-old son is in the car with his dad. He's getting dropped off after his visitation with his dad for the weekend. And for whatever reason, I guess his mom and stepdad have been fighting, or they've been screaming at him, fighting with him, whatever. He decides, I don't want to stay with y'all no more. Like, I want to stay with my dad. He's 14 years old. So when they pull back up, he's there. He's like, hey, Mom, I'm not coming back. Like, I'm staying with Dad. And she's like, absolutely not. So it's just this long diatribe of her, to me, being extremely manipulative.
Yeah, I caught the first
She's
part
being
of that.
extremely manipulative, but she's talking in a calm voice, but everything is like, how could you do this to your siblings? How could you do this to me?
Oh, why would you do that to your fucking kid? Come on.
Do you think this is responsible? Do you think this is the right way to go about things? Why don't you come in the house and we haven't even talked? And he's like, we never talk, we just argue.
You can see why he want to leave. You can see why he's trying to get the hell up out of there.
The little boy like, well, talk to me right now. No, I'm not. No, I'm not talking to you in front of him. It was just
God.
But since she
be like, bye.
But she called the police. Like, nope, this isn't a part of our order. Nope, you're not staying with your dad.
Damn.
I didn't see what happened once the police got there, but she's like, and the dad is like, she's telling the dad, kick him out your car. Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm going to support my son. Like, if my son wants to stay with me, I'm not kicking him out my car. And
he should have been went and got his son. He let his son live with that crazy ass woman like that, and made him her problem. He should have went and got his son.
But you know, in just a lighter way, just oh God, don't let my kids get older and me start throwing out little manipulative. Oh, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be a manipulative mother. That was awful.
Don't. That will cut them forever. That's horrible to do to that little boy. That's terrible.
Yeah,
they ain't just doing that to that boy. That shows who you are, though.
That's
oh
her
yeah,
personality.
absolutely.
That's how she get down.
Yeah, that's a terrible spirit. That's somebody who that's hurt people hurting people. She wants people to hurt. That's a bitter spirit. Ugh, that poor kid. And you know,
about you.
And there's so many kids who are stuck in that dynamic with parents who are divorced, or parents who had a bitter divorce, or parents who just cannot get their fucking heads out of their own ass for their children and just find pleasure in fighting because there's a connection involved. Like, so many kids are stuck. Like, I'm on this page of parents whose I'm on a page of custodial parents, basically, who have essentially been, you know, exiled out of their children's lives by the custodial parent. And there's like, you know, all these people have court orders, all these people are paying child support, some people are not, you know, I mean, everybody's situation is different, but it's all non-custodial parents who are like, I haven't seen my fucking kid in 3 years, I haven't seen my kid in 6 years, I haven't seen my kid in, you know, 7 weeks. And it's like, there's so many hurtful people out there like that who use their children as pawns. So I said, like, about a month ago, when Brittany, Washington's baby mama, the one we originally were talking about, when she posted a couple of her videos on Instagram, I was like, oh, he needs to go get his kids, or he needs to go get his baby from her. You know, like, that man should have went and got his son from that woman. That man divorced that woman or left that little boy's mama for whatever reason they're not together. He knew she was crazy like that. He knew she was mentally and emotionally abusive to his son. He should have went and got him. And that's where a lot of people don't pull the trigger, is fighting for their child. And I do understand sometimes it feels like it's futile, especially for men. Men can't fight that system. That system is not there for men. But, like, yes, more men should fight for their children, but why are women making it difficult for men to be fathers is the problem.
Oh, Nikki.
What?
That's so perfect. Because Tiara put a post up a couple days ago, said, what's worse, a fragile male ego or a scorned woman?
A scorned woman is a dangerous thing, but men generally kill women. But men generally kill women. So I would, you know, a man is more dangerous to me, you know, than a woman is, but a woman can do a lot of emotional damage. Men are oftentimes the ones that kill women. So, not to say women don't kill men or women can't, but generally, you know, in those types of volatile situations.
I need to let this breathe. I just said that was the most beautiful segue I've ever done in my life.
Yay! You did that, Q! You did that, Q! You did that. We didn't plan that, y'all. I swear to God. I told you we was going to freestyle it tonight.
Yes. I said a scorned woman, but I agree with Nikki. Men are scarier but in sense of relationally, I said a scorned women, because, like, men with fragile egos, like, I mean, if you've been in the game for 2 seconds, you can spot them. I mean,
in a second. 2 seconds. Like, but they do damage too. Let's not act like they don't, because they bleed on every woman that never hurt them. You know, so
but they bleed on the what's the word I'm looking for? What type of woman am I looking for? What's the type of women that they attract? The gullible,
insecure. The vulnerable,
yes. Insecure. But
maybe so.
You got to be super secure, because no woman is super secure. I mean, let's not tell lies. You ain't got to be insecure, but it's not like all of our security is through the roof. You just need a little secure.
Check off all the boxes.
Now, I said a scorned woman because I think they can be a little trickier, because you ain't scorned them yet. So you got to listen a little harder to see what they did the last time they got
simmering under the surface.
Yes.
Ooh, good point.
So I think they're a little more creep. You know, I think they're a little harder to detect. So that's why I said scorned woman.
Yeah, you can see the fragile male. You can see it from a mile away, because it doesn't even just it's not just exclusive to relation. They fragile like in all
With
areas.
everybody.
So
Like
when you get
there's people I've never been in a relationship. I'm like, he's a fragile one. He's a very.
So think about how dangerous that is in the structure of patriarchy, which is what we live in. So when you think about a scorned woman still lives in a patriarchal society. There's only so much she can do. A male is the head of every level when it comes to society that we live in. So an ego, but a fragile a fragile egoed man has more access and more control over our day-to-day everythings, which makes him far more dangerous than that scorned woman, because we don't live in a matriarchal society. We live in a patriarchal society.
I disagree.
From the way that the laws are made, to the way that teachers are, to the way that they teach students, to the way that the medical profession happens. Like a fragile male ego is dangerous everywhere because he is everywhere. Women, we're not everywhere. As human bodies, yes, we are, but systematically, we don't run a lot of shit except our homes, our households. Obviously, we're certainly making our way in this world. We have made our way in this world. I'm not saying that we're not, but we are not equal. Men, a fragile male, like Ivory said, you can spot them within seconds. That's an infestation. That shit is like black mold. It goes everywhere.
Okay, so let's go here. A fragile male ego. What's the worst that's gonna happen? He'll kill you. Maybe.
That's pretty much it. I mean, that's about it for me.
Okay, hold on.
That works for me.
So hold on. This is my point. This is my point, and this is what I was arguing about with Edward on the thread. I said, what do you think has done more? What do you think has done more harm to society? The nuclear bomb, or just guns in general?
Okay.
Because
I would say guns, right? Like,
okay, so
you're saying the scorned woman theory is more
right, because you could talk about, like, if a man goes nuclear, yes, that's an extreme.
No, men got guns, women go nuclear. We blow some shit up. They kill shit.
Don't lose my point. Don't lose my point. We can take it to the absolute extreme, but even in those cases, it's far and few in between. In comparison of all relationships across the globe, you got extreme cases where men take it all the way there because they just, they flip that.
I mean, every day, like every day, everywhere. That
Can
happens.
I say this?
But when we talk about the damage to a relationship and damage to households and families and the children family dynamic, that's the gun right there. That's something that you witness. You can, if you look, you can see dozens, maybe even hundreds of situations like that on a regular basis from a scorned woman in a relationship. And when it comes to relationships, women got the upper hand, no doubt about it.
I will also say this. We got to also remember a lot of times women are just as abusive as men, but it doesn't get documented.
Sure.
Or it doesn't get reported because of the
that was another thread we had.
The male ego. One, I'm not going to tell my guys or the cops that she beat me up, or she's, I'm not going to report that she slashed my tires. It may make me look weak. So
and most men are protectors. They want to protect their woman as opposed to throw her under the bus.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of times guys get a bad rap.
True.
A lot of times guys do not report a lot of violence against them in the hands of women because it seemed as less masculine.
Tiara, the scorned woman, the scornness of the woman can last way longer. See, a man, his ego,
that shit becomes part of their makeup.
He may hold on to certain stuff, but then until he find the next person to go. A scorned woman will hold on to that particular person and incident, and she gonna make them. There's stuff that
they gonna pay.
But the fragile male is too. The fragile male will.
Well, they gonna go bleed on somebody else. They spread their
exactly. So they just take that hurt and that dysfunction to the next one, and they just put a little over here and a little over here, drop it on your kids, a little over here, and
the woman gonna go bleed on somebody else, but she gonna keep bleeding on that old guy too, because she ain't finished with that.
She ain't done. She ain't done with him yet.
I just don't want to be.
Horse. She beating that dead horse to death. Okay, he died and died again.
She beating the horse that's alive. She beating the dead horse.
So what was the consensus of the post? What do you feel like most people said as their response?
A male ego.
The male was more than the female.
Let me
ego.
tell you something. It's easier to beat up on the man because it's not going to be as much repercussion. Let you say a scorned woman, then I start getting all these responses and stuff like that because there's certain things that it's easier to beat up on a man than it is to say something about a woman because it's going to.
I said scorned woman, but I was thinking relationally, not societally.
Me too, also. But Ivory, on the thread, do you feel
societally, definitely a fragile male ego.
Do you feel like you were in the minority, Ivory?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think we said what we were talking about.
Right.
Yeah, it was general. Yeah.
Right. So it's like for all humanity and time and society, definitely a fragile male ego has been more destructive than a scorned woman.
Right.
But inside of a relationship, to me, a scorned woman is more destructive than a fragile male ego.
True.
Yeah.
Have you ever been with a man with a fragile ego though?
Yeah.
Especially for a long period of time.
I can't do it for more than 2 weeks. It's only.
But did you ever see
last 2 weeks?
Yeah. If even 2 weeks.
And I've had friends.
Sometimes it shows itself in different ways, though. Sometimes it isn't the obvious. Sometimes it is it's like it's hidden in insecurities and.
No, definitely, but it always comes out in the first month. I found out.
Even if
it's hidden, it don't hide long.
It can't.
I guess depending on how much time you spend talking to or getting to know a person, for sure. But
you get 1 month. It's coming out.
1 month. It's coming out. It's coming.
That is true because it's gonna be exaggeration. They're gonna get their feelings hurt too easy.
My God, so fast.
And let me tell you something.
Tell when they are like woman hater energy type of dudes, like
and real men. Okay, this is a telltale sign.
That one post
most of these fragile male ego, they don't have a lot of male friends. Pay attention to this.
Yep.
They roast because real men cannot deal. They like, ooh.
They filmed out like a motherfucker. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Can't mess with this dude. Because you jealous, you got security issues, all of this stuff is like, oh no, we can't be around you. They usually roll solo. They don't have a lot of male friends around them. That's something. That's your lesson for today. Y'all pay attention to that. Anybody who rolls solo, they don't have a lot of male friends around them. It's for a reason.
Ooh, that's a good point. So do you think the post I put up the next day, the text messages, is that male fragile ego?
What was the text message one?
Oh, I don't know what that is, but it's something strange.
No, that is okay. So let me. I'm right here, Nikki. Here it is.
Okay, I missed this one. I think.
So coming right in. Now the question is, this is Tiara's question: is the timing of this question valid? You gotta pay attention to what she asking because you can get caught up in the weeds. Is the timing of this question valid, or is this too much too soon? Now, this gentleman, his coming out the gates. This is they text him back and forth.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I guess he was saying how do you plan on keeping a man? That's question number one.
Okay, that she literally at the gate, like you said, you said at the gate.
She like, excuse me? What are your tools to keep a man? I believe this is a harmless question. And she says, LOL, harmless maybe after an introduction. Maybe, hi, how are you? I'm marvelous. Thanks for asking yourself. Let's chop it up a little bit. And so he responds, we're both aware that formal introductions are not. See, why are you assuming for both of them whatever he's saying? See, controlling. Anyway. We are both aware that formal introductions are not appealing to the majority of females. In addition, I'm not a fan of small chat or monotonous. Hold on, let me see. In addition, I'm not a fan of small chat or monotonous discussion. Allow me to forego all the small talk for the time being because we are here to create relationships, correct? Stupid. I would just block them. Just block them.
Did you see my response?
I
Q?
can easily see that your name. I can easily see what your
female.
name is, and the same is true for you. So, what tools do you have at your disposal to maintain a man? Yes, this is a completely innocent inquiry.
And mind you, this is a conversation on what looks to be a dating app. So, did you see my response, Q? Did you? I did see the post. Read my response. Read my reply.
Hold on, Nikki. Let me see.
Oh man, y'all had me dying on that one. I just was like,
I was like, I'm done with this shit.
Hold on. Now I see your. Hold on. Let's see first. I just see your response to.
It's the same,
Krista.
basically.
All that plus he refers to a woman as female.
Female.
His soulmate is a man.
His soulmate is another beta man. Period.
Nikki, I'm with
He
you.
was very
Anytime
proud.
a man start calling women females, I'm already checked out.
I'm done. I'm so done with that. And we had this
So why is
conversation of
that?
free thinkers in person
Tell me
years
about that.
It's
ago.
a
Like,
personality that goes with a man that calls a woman female.
exactly.
It's like
100.
personality that goes with that.
it's almost like he's
Yeah.
typecast women as this negative thing, and that's his label for them, female. Female is the negative.
Female. Female is
Connotation
derogatory.
of-
It's got a
It is.
derogatory energy to it. I'm sorry. I don't care. And anybody who argues that it doesn't is one of those people who's part of the problem. Like, if women are telling you that this is how the word and this is how we perceive it, then fuck what you think. We don't like
Okay.
it. This is what it means. You call us women because when you call us females, dogs are females. That's how you identify a sex of an animal is male or female. Yes, we are born female, but we're fucking women. We're not females, you know?
So
like,
my
so for
issue
him
is-
to say that, I was like, boy, bye. I was like,
See, I never even thought about that. So even if I use the term female,
but he takes all that energy into the rest of the vomit that he spews in those text
right.
messages. So
It would
isn't
still
a,
have to be
like,
in a
you know,
general
female
term.
thing.
If I'm talking specifically to someone, why am I using such a general term if I'm talking specifically
Right.
to a person?
Exactly.
That would be a
Female.
problem.
And so
Because now it's
my
like you're not
comment
trying to
was
get to
this.
know me. You just looping me into your perception of every woman that you know.
My
when you
comment
use
was
that term.
this, because I've known men like this, and the way he
Ew.
comes across
This
is
is
he's
stupid.
going to expect a certain amount of control in a relationship.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
what I. That's
Oh,
what I
hell
mean.
yeah.
Very controlling, and this
Because
is
he
my
has
thing.
none.
You started off controlling, talking about
Because
we are
it-
both aware that formal introductions are not appealing to the majority of
That
females.
wasn't controlling.
How
That
you
was a
say we
that wasn't
both?
controlling. That was a sensitive,
We both
fragile male ego disguised in fucking cheesemo that they try to slang this macho shit around. It's like, bro,
That's
do you want to borrow
definitely-
my heels too? And that's fine if you do, but let's quit this shit because you definitely can't roll with a real ass woman if you think that that type of introduction is going to warrant you the type of energy from a woman who's going to deal with that type of nonsense. And just the fact that you're on a single site and let's skip the introductions. Bye.
So you know
Well, and
what?
this is what I was gonna say, because this is what
Bye.
my comment said. Okay, let's say that's the world you want to live in, homie. Like let's just say
Yeah.
I'm gonna peel back my judgment. So I'm peeling back my judgment. This is the world you want to live in, and there are some chicks who are happy to live in the world with you. Why not just have an arranged marriage?
Yeah.
That you can. It's people who sign up all the time. I want to take care of your kids and run your house and be everything you ever
He want to be
for a man.
chased. He want to be
No, no, no.
pursued. He want to be
Let-
chased.
No, let
He
me.
want
let
a
me break
woman
this
to
down
make
for
him
you.
feel like she needs to be worthy of his affection and attention
I'm gonna break
because
this
he's
down.
hella insecure.
The same way people use anger as a control mechanism. This is another similar case, but what this is someone who is number one insecure, but also they don't take rejection well, but he is expecting to get rejected. You ever seen the person?
You think so?
Look, hey, oh, absolutely.
You think he
ever-
was expecting to get
Yes.
rejected? Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Because
you
what
would know.
happened-
You're the
let me
male.
break
You
this down.
generally are the one that
Let me-
pursues a woman. So
let me break this down.
you would know.
Because when someone, they fear rejection, but they expect it also because of their own flaws that they have not been able to overcome. They don't want to have any attachment. They just want to get through it and get off. You ever, hey, do you want to be with me? Yes or no? That's really what they say. And then when you say no, see, I knew you wasn't nothing. It's like, you know, they already, the reason they came at you that way is because they were already expecting a certain answer from you. And when you gave them the answer they expected based off of their energy, then for them, it just reinforced why all these females are the same way anyway. So instead of me taking the time to say, hi, what's your name? How you doing? I'm marvelous. How are you? Or just going through the formalities and seeing just basic etiquette that people have. He said, I want to skip all of that because I don't want to create any illusion of attachment that's going to end up at a dead end. So skip all of that. I don't even want none of that. Just tell me, what is it? You tell me, how do you plan on keeping a man? It's you're trying to keep the ball in your court. And the moment she turned you down, then it just reinforces. See, I knew you wasn't nothing in the first place. But in reality, you don't value yourself very highly, and you expected them to turn you down because you have not taken the time. This should be on 30 on the thread. You have not taken the time to deal with your own flaws as an individual. Take care of that first, and then people might not be so turned off by you. But they're continually turned off by your character flaws, and you see that they're turned off by that, but you haven't been able to put two and two together. So you keep getting turned down, and now you like, oh, all right. So how you plan on keeping a man? Just get straight to the point, since you don't, you know, since none of y'all women don't seem to be about nothing. Just tell me, are you about that life or are you not? And you find a lot of women who do the same thing. Remember, it was about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I talked about women don't sit there and talk about marriage, life, and relationship goals on the first date. Like, say that, see if you get along with each other first. But a lot of women who've been scorned and dealt a bad, you know, they like, well, what are you looking for in a woman? Are you planning to get married? How many you go through all this? Like, hey, you don't know nothing about me. Why are you asking all these questions first?
Yeah, and
but they're trying to get through it first, and it's like, no, you have to deal with. Just go through the process and find out if you like a person. They're trying to get to an end without the process that leads to the end. You're just trying to get all the way to the end, and it don't work. A relationship don't work like that. I'm sorry, Terry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was going to say, a lot of times what women will do is, what is your intentions for me or with me? But it's still, it's a timing for those type of questions. I think the way he went about it was totally wrong. And he did a lot of, definitely, and you can tell how he generalized. He wasn't speaking to her. He was speaking to all women. Yep. Like, I felt like he really wasn't even directing it to her. He was like, you women don't like, introductions or something like that. And I was like, what? Why are you generalizing this conversation as if you're talking to all women? So now you're really bringing in all your experiences into this one conversation, and that's already tell the tale in my eyes. Like, you already showing me that you're bringing your baggage and you're throwing it on me. Nah, I'm good.
Yep, from the jump.
So but a lot of times you do as women, and when you said that, Quentin, a while ago, I can see how that could be very off-putting for men. Like, do you want to get married? All this stuff. Whoa, we just having coffee. Give me, that we're having big conversations over small things.
Right.
And then it's like, do you really want to get to know me, or are you trying to fit me in a peg?
You trying to fit? Yep. Exactly.
See, but to the flip side to that, some people don't want to waste their time. Like, I'm not saying, is that me or is that?
It's probably you. It's probably you. It was you last time.
Sorry, I don't know why. Anyway, to the flip side, there's a lot of people who, some people don't want to be married. That's okay. Some people do want to be married in their life. So, some people know what they would like for their end game to be. That doesn't mean you have to have that conversation on the first day, but in the aspect of, I don't even want to get to know you if I like you or not, if we don't have some of the common things in our future, because that's going to be a challenge later on if we don't want the same things.
So you're looking for all the reward without the risk.
No, but you can't start out with somebody who's like, I don't believe in marriage, and you're like, oh man, I do. You know, like, okay, well that's
like, well, why? I don't even want to.
Yeah, I don't even want to get to know you to like you because I can't have you in the way in which I want to. Like, you would be better suited with a woman. I don't want to waste my time. There isn't enough time. There isn't enough time. There isn't enough time to waste on getting to know somebody.
That's the misconception.
If you fundamentally have, that's like if I got with a man and he's like, do you want to have more kids? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, that's a deal breaker for me. I understand that. I don't even want us to get to love each other or like each other or vibe with each other because I can't give you that. That's going to be a problem.
Out on a first date to find a husband, you're not
going out to find a husband, but you need it is. I think it is absolutely critical. It's critical.
Not on the first date. It's not on the first date.
No, maybe not on the first date, but what if you've been talking for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then your first date is a month into it? That's enough time for you to be like, all right, what's your goal in a relationship? Like, we need to know this.
It's a little different.
There's nothing wrong with that.
If you're just getting to know somebody and you're talking about marriage and you don't even know if you like the person or not, I hear that a lot.
If I'm talking to you, I like you. If I'm talking to you, I like you. I'm not going to build it any further than that emotionally.
From a physical aspect, you meet the criteria on an outer level. Now you're going to find
out. Sure. And I'm not going to sit up here and lie and act like the outer level ain't important shit, because it is.
But the inner level is important too. So at least
you're right. But if somebody doesn't want something or wants something that is a deal breaker of the potential future partner,
that's the wrong way to go.
Yeah, well, be that as it may, I'm not going to waste my time, and I don't want to waste somebody else's time either.
Is that wasting time? Being able to hold an hour-long conversation, learn something about themselves, or maybe learn something about yourself in the process of having a conversation. Is that a waste of time? Enjoying yourself and laughing just before, that's not a waste of time. It's only a waste of time when your only end game is. Women get this messed up all the time. Women and men, but I think it can get
messed up. But I think it can be messed up
if your focus is only on
checking list.
Checking off the list. And I think that's the other part too, because now you lose so many opportunities to learn more about men and to learn more about yourself just through conversation. Are you husband material? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? No.
Well, that's a terrible way to ask somebody that, but it is important to know if somebody
saying that, but that's what a lot of people
or that or this or that.
But
I think you have to be wise in how you obviously have these types of conversations with people. But to say like, don't do that, I'm not. I would never tell somebody to not know what that person's end game is.
You're going into it. If you go into it with that
attitude's important.
But that's what I'm saying. Stop going into the attitude like, are you the one or are you not? Stop. Just stop.
No, I don't know if you are or you aren't. But if you want kids and I don't, there's no point to further this. If you want to be married and I don't, if you want to be married and I don't, there's no point to further this. If you want to inject your children with the jab and I don't, there's no point in furthering this. I'm not going to waste your time.
Enjoy one another and each other's presence.
I sure did. It's a whole, y'all got a whole bunch of check marks on my list. I know what I anticipate being single for a long time. I anticipate this, right? Like I do. But I also don't go out and just be like, hey, you want to get no.
That's the wrong mindset.
Well, I mean, you can say that,
in
but
hours, find out, can we be in each other's presence and enjoy each other's company for a couple of hours?
You should know that before you accept a date from somebody.
You don't know that, no.
Yeah, well, then you going on dates too quick, in my opinion. I don't date like that. I don't date like that. We have to have some conversation for a minute before I go meet somebody in person.
Let me ask you a question, Nikki. Have you ever texted well with someone and then meet them in person and y'all can't hold a 15-minute conversation? There's a lot of people out there right now because they text well, but they don't talk well.
I don't have time to fuck around. So my screening instrument is good from jump.
Wrong mindset.
Whatever. I'm sucker free too, so I'm okay with that.
How do you even enjoy yourself on a date?
I don't go on dates. I'm not dating, I guess. I don't know. No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem to not go on dates. For what?
It's so much more to learn. It is.
I'm good. I've learned a lot. I don't have to go on a lot of dates to learn a lot of shit. I know enough about people fundamentally to know shit.
Okay.
So, women do have these checklists, and I do think it really prohibits them from finding or being open to find different people. I'm not saying checklists are bad,
right? No, they can be ridiculous.
I think we sometimes, and you see it on the Kevin, is it Kevin
God.
Samuels type stuff, and he's like, well, even your checklist is wrong.
It's not even realistic.
It's not realistic, but a lot of times, what we take the element out of in dating, I do believe it ties back into social media and dating online, is because you place kind of what you are in this little, again, a little sound bite or a little post about, I like the color blue, my favorite movies, blah, 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 blah. We take out the really dynamic of being organic about conversating and really how to mate and get to know people. Because we're so used to this shortened list, or I got my stuff right here, this is what I got, what you got, let's see if we can trade or mix. Like, what happened to being just it coming naturally? Those conversations.
There's levels to it, though. That is, and that's how it should be. It should be organic. My thing is I just feel like our foundation, there's got to be some foundational similarities for us to then grow this organicness. Because if I ultimately know in my heart of hearts that in your heart of hearts we have fundamental beliefs, would you guys be able to date an atheist? Would you all be able to have children with somebody of a completely different religious faith, or somebody who doesn't believe in God at all? I mean, so there's going to be some things for some people that are their parameters, especially when you're 40 plus and you're possibly entering the dating world again. There's no time to just
doesn't matter if we're
yes it does. You're rebuilding what you hope to be your love. So there are going to be some things that I'm not willing to go down that road with because I don't have to.
If we're not compatible,
and that's okay.
It don't matter if we're not compatible.
Well, so there's nothing wrong with finding out about compatibility early on in a relationship, and relationship is a bad word, but
that you can learn about yourself and relationships and what you like and what you don't like.
You're going to learn about yourself regardless.
Process. No, you're not. If you
you are.
If you shut it all down before the date ever start, you don't get that opportunity.
I would talk.
No, because you. Well, I mean,
you don't give yourself the opportunity. You shut it down before it started.
I mean, but for some people, it's not necessary.
I was gonna say I understand where you're coming from, Quentin. I think for women and men, it's.
Are you freezing up?
We frozen? Okay, it's not me tripping. Ivory, you're freezing. If you can hear us,
you froze. I can't.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Anyway, I was talking about Nikki wrong. Let's
look. I already told you I subscribed to being single for a long time.
Am I still frozen?
I can hear you.
No, now you're good. Now you're good.
Okay.
put your lip back in. We got you.
What you're considering as fun, Quentin, I mean, I remember when I'm dating and I meet somebody and I really enjoy their company, and then I find out we have no similarities, nothing alike, like it's something I can't continue in. That wasn't fun for me. Like,
right. It's a waste of time. It feels like a waste of time.
Yes. No, it's not.
Listen, just wait. I think men and women just see it differently, because I think for y'all, it kind of can be fun, right? Y'all like to have all these different experiences. Oh, because I hear y'all talk all the time. Oh, yeah, we went out a couple times, but we just found out we were good as friends. And y'all got all these little weird dating stories and stuff. We don't have that.
Got all them friends.
Why don't you have it? Why don't you have it? But when you go into it with the wrong, if you go into those dates with the wrong motive, then of course you're not.
No, some people like to date, I guess, and some people don't. Like, I like to date the same person. I don't like to date around.
Dating was not fun for me. Yeah.
No, I find nothing pleasurable about this experience. Not at all. So I'd rather just not. So, like, I don't see any harm or any foul with knowing what your parameters are. Do you need to be flexible? Absolutely.
Just absolutely.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm not dating. That works for me.
That's fine, but I'm saying don't date with this.
You crazy? Because best believe when I go on a date, I'm sure finna be like, I mean, I'm not gonna ask you for your whole itinerary here on our first date. We also won't be on a date unless I've liked you enough to want to see you in person.
What I'm trying to tell you, and I don't think y'all understand, whether you know it, you understand it or not, you're coming off very similar to this man in the thread, and you don't even know it. He's much more
I don't
direct.
care. And I don't care.
But you just got to understand that's not very productive.
I mean, so if it's meant to be, it'll be. If it ain't, it ain't. Like I said, you're gonna get to know me before I ever see you. So a date in person, it ain't gonna make if you don't like me and I don't like you. Period.
That's fine. Look, let me tell people all out there in Facebook land.
Don't listen to Q.
When you come in with that mindset, you don't know it, but you're being very similar to the man that's on. He's a little bit more direct and straightforward, but your intentions are oozing out of your pores, and people knows like. And not only it's a turnoff.
I think it just takes
you're
more
asking
finesse.
You're asking
right.
for a
way different approach.
It's a different approach, but it's still coming off the same thing. Even on your first
date with some finesse, you can get a lot out of people. Finesse.
Yes. Absolutely.
So no, he doesn't want me to talk,
y'all. He wants all your time.
Right. A quality man can see when you are agenda driven versus personally driven. Like, you're not trying to get to know me, you're trying to see if I fit a prototype for you. And it don't matter how nicely you say it, it's still
that could be the case, but that could be the case, but that could also be his that could be the case, but it could also be his that could also be his frail male ego too, because there's nothing wrong. I like meeting men who know what they want. I enjoy meeting men who know what they want.
I don't have a frail male ego, but
I'm not
I
saying
can
you.
tell
I'm
when
saying.
I know you ain't talking about me, but I'm using myself as an example. I can still tell when someone is they at that itch. I've hit a certain age. I'm this. And I'm ready for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it becomes a turnoff because
now
I
agree.
You're not interested in learning or knowing about me. You're looking for an insert here, whether it's me or the next person, but you're trying to find somebody who's between the 5'8" and 6'1", and you're trying to find someone that's not too dark but not light enough, and you're trying to find someone that got less than 2 kids and they got to make at least 80,000. So all you're doing is you got a checklist and you're looking to see if I fit in that checklist. Meanwhile, you don't know anything about me, and really you're not trying to know anything about me. And now at this point, anything that you're asking about me, it's not even, it's just out of politeness, but it's not even out of sincere inquiry.
This is what I meant about finesse.
I'm not a dater.
There's a way to, hey, to tell me about what's been going on with you for the last few years. Oh, okay. You came out of a relationship. Oh, was it a serious relationship? Oh, no, it wasn't serious. Oh, how you feel about that? It's a way to ask questions without it being like, I'm grilling you. Right. It's a way to ask people questions about their life and their experiences and the choices that they've made. This sounds like honest inquiries about who they are, and you glean information from it.
I agree. You can get more information out of a person by doubling down and asking them about their passions and things that they're interested in.
Yeah.
Through that, everything else will come out about their character, their likes, their background, so much stuff, their best friends, everything will come out if you just talk to a person about their interests.
Listen, I'm
get to
not
know the person.
I'm like Nikki. Antoine called me 21 questions because by that second date, I had asked him every question about his whole life, his intentions, your last relationship.
What you doing on the first date?
How did it go? What went wrong? What would she say? I was 21 freaking questions.
What did you do on the first date?
We went to see Maya Angelou.
I'm saying, what type of questions you asked on the first date?
I was asking about tell me about your last relationship. Oh, what happened?
Okay. A little bit.
I said, what would she say? He said, oh, I think that. I said, what do you think she would say went wrong? Oh, well, she would say yada yada yada. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
See, in relationships ain't too far off base because
interesting.
Yeah, both of y'all single for a reason. So I mean, that's kind of a valid question. And that ain't got nothing to do with the two of y'all directly. So that ain't too far off. But I'm saying, well, what about us?
Oh no, of course not.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's just like
Nikki,
hello.
when you're asking about you're asking marriage questions and relations, that's really what you're saying.
Oh,
okay.
Now, Quinn, you talking about
you done dated some throat ass chicks, man. Like,
you can't be on your first and second date talking about, do you see yourself marrying me one day? No, that's some
I'm saying you don't directly say that, but certain things that you say, it is. And if all you're trying to do is check off, let me find out where we don't match so I can end this date a little quickly, then yeah, that's still where you're getting to.
No, yeah,
know your boundaries. Ladies and gentlemen, know your boundaries. Know what you like and what you don't like.
You said you're a Hebrew Israelite? No, check. That's all I needed. All right, check, please. And then
for some people, that would be the deal breaker.
Let me be honest. If I was out to eat with somebody and they said they was a Hebrew Israelite, I would ask for their check.
That's my point.
Don't be like,
but this is, I'm going back to Nikki's point. There's nothing left enjoyable about getting to know
my God, Jesus.
I'm good on this. I'm good on this. I'm good on this. I don't want to waste your time or mine.
About their religion.
I know enough of. I've been arguing with them people for 20 years. I don't need to know nothing else about their religion. If somebody said, "Oh, by the way, I'm a Hebrew Israelite," I'm gonna be like,
"How does a person get into it?" That is
so interesting.
What was the state of mind that they were in that led them to want to know?
See, I mean, that's like me trying to entertain. That's like me trying to entertain dating a man who's jabbed up. That is not going to work. It's just not going to work. There's just some things that are not going to work. You need to know that about yourself.
Now, wait a minute.
Whatever.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
Oh my God.
Same way you couldn't have no dinner with a Hebrew Israelite. I could not date a man who was jabbed up. I just can't, because that tells me some things about this man I need to know. And I'm so glad that people talk about this, because
you see how we talked about 5 different things under the sun, but that jab keep coming back up, because what's important to you, if you just have a conversation, it's gonna come on out.
You're right. When we first talked, did you get the shot? You did. Thank you, baby. Bye.
Over the course of this conversation, I ain't even been a part of the conversation.
I mean, well, we're just talking about things that would be deal breakers. So I'm just using my deal breakers. I use weddings. I use children. I use shots. I mean, I'm flexible on veganism. I'm flexible on a lot of things, but there's some things I'm not.
We talked about 3 or 4 different subjects. We
no, we don't. No, we don't. He better do something else. We don't do that.
Think about this. Think about
we don't do that.
We having a conversation. We ain't said nothing about no type of jab.
We're talking about deal breakers. You just talk about Hebrew Israelites at dinner, how you couldn't sit with dinner. I'm just talking about deal breakers. That's a deal breaker for you. That's a deal breaker for me.
Follow my point, Nikki.
So why waste each other's time? Why waste each other's time?
Follow my point, Nikki. My point is, you can just have a conversation, and whatever's inside of a person is going to come out. We ain't talked about that all day, but you still mentioned it because that's what's important to you.
Because we're talking about deal breakers. Ivory was agreeing to my point.
You're not hearing me, Nikki.
You're not hearing me. Ivory was agreeing to my point. I just was using that as a reference because she mentioned the Hebrew Israelites.
My point is,
y'all understood that so greatly, but it seems like you don't understand the jab issue. So I'm just reiterating it.
Listen, let me make it clear what I'm saying. You can just have a conversation. I enjoyed all of your conversations today. Everybody's point of view, all of that. I've enjoyed it, and through that, I further learned more about even that stuff. I didn't have to come out and ask you.
We didn't have to go on a date either. We had a conversation. It took 3 minutes and boom, it's over. So no date needed.
Don't neglect the conversation.
We're not finna have a date unless we have a conversation. I must date a little differently than you do, perhaps. So I'm not just going on dates unless we've had conversation first. So all that dating is because we've had the conversation about what's important. To a certain level, obviously, right? But I met you on Tuesday, and Wednesday night we went to like a fancy dinner, and I laid out the the land of my life and what I expect. But
so before we get out,
I don't date like that.
Let me give you a scenario. I'm gonna give you Andrew Wiggins scenario. You got two people in the NBA, Andrew Wiggins and Kyrie Irving. They both said, "Look, I'm not getting the jab," but Andrew Wiggins is like, "Look, if I don't get the jab, I'm gonna miss about $25 million. So I'm getting the jab because I'm trying to create generational wealth for my family. And look, I gotta go and take the L. I don't like it. Seem like they making me do it, but if I'm trying to get this bag, that's what's gonna happen." Would you not, under those circumstances, you still be like, "No, I can't deal with you because you took the jab"?
It just wouldn't be the type of man that I would be, because
mentally he on the same page as you, but he
still did it. He still did it. So what we should have done is we should have secured our future with that money instead of letting that money, that promise of that check, just be something that we depended on. So if his ability to create this generational wealth is solely based on the fact that he keeps getting these checks as opposed to what he's gotten, he's been able to manage very responsibly to also look out for his future, then walking away from the NBA, he could have done that. Would it have been painful? Absolutely. Could he have been in trouble? Sure. Could we be broke? Possibly. But if you have a principle that you believe in and you waver for that, and I understand that people waver for many different reasons. That's why I'm so disgusted in the fact that it's become, if you don't take this, you get fired type of position.
We're still on Facebook right now.
That's why I have the passion that I do about people who are being forced to take it, even though they fundamentally do not want to have this in their body. To be forced to lose your job and your security is wrong. So I would rather be broke with you and us figure it out than for you to go cave to these people and take this shot to keep this money. And I get why people have to do what they have to do. But for me, that is how that's I would have more of a hard time knowing that he went ahead and did something that was against his principles, against his moral, against what he felt was the right thing to do for his body, for the man again. And I realize that's what white supremacy is, and that's what white supremacy has built in this country. So it's very easy to keep that machine going. Like, I know that there's so many parts to this besides just saying yes or no. When people's lives are literally held in the palm of somebody else's and they can squish your shit in your family, I get it. But that like, so you talk about deal breakers and shit. Again, I subscribe to being single for a long time because we are in an era right now where people are having to make decisions that don't sit well with them, or they're being forced to be in situations where now they potentially lose everything. But at the risk of what?
Yes, it'll be a deal breaker for me if I was single the other way.
We can be broke.
You ain't did what?
Oh no, I would. Oh God, no. Oh
you better go somewhere away from me. Right? No, it was so funny. One of my
and I know it's a lot of people, and a lot of people think like that, and I get it.
One of my friends came by and we were talking. He was fixing something for me outside, and I was like, during the pandemic, me and my husband just really did not get out until we got vaccinated. And then him and his girlfriend had invited us a couple places and we hadn't went. And I'm like, oh, just to let you know, like, I'm all down for some everybody's vaccinated fun. And he was like, oh, I'm not vaccinated. I was like, oh, crap.
So why if you
vaccinated? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Everybody ain't for everybody.
If you're vaccinated, why do it matter if they vaccinated or not to you?
Because the different strains, you can still get them. I mean, you're not going to end up in a hospital or die or anything. But like
people die every day after they've gotten the shot. There's lots of people who have died after the shot with COVID. So that's the problem, is people say things like that and it's like erroneous. It's wrong. Like, it's okay to feel the protection.
It's wrong.
Because people die. Because people die. I mean, the information's out there.
And I have other information.
Let me break.
But you have the same information I have. But you have the same information.
Hold on.
People die every day after the shot with COVID.
Let me ask a question. And this is where it kind of starts and stops for me. Nikki, how many people do you know who took the vaccination and died from COVID after taking the vaccination or after they took it, they died?
At least 3 right now.
Okay.
That's what I personally know. I mean, if you literally go to this World Wide Web that we have and like research on the VAERS website, like the government website that collects all this data, it's there.
The beginning of the conversation we had was about crooked Facebook. I don't even put too much stock in that. I put more stock in my personal experience. So then I will ask you the same question because your experience could be different than mine. How many people do you know who didn't take the vaccine who died?
I don't know who took the vaccine and died.
Did not take the vaccine and then they died.
Most of the people who I know who have died have been vaccinated.
Okay.
Most of the people who I know who have been in the most trouble.
The difference.
We have two different experiences. Like I know 10 or 15 people
it's about education and information. The information is there.
Nothing over trumps your personal experience.
Right. I know what your information is, but you're saying I've never heard of anybody dying, and I'm like, that's crazy because that information is there.
I'm not
like we just had 2 police officers with COVID shots die. We just had a firefighter. I mean, but it's there. Like
I don't know what
it's there. It's just
experience, Nikki.
I mean, I believe that, and that's okay. Whether you do or you don't, I'm okay with that.
Sure, that's fine. This is what I'm telling you. For me, I don't personally have any connections with anyone who took the vaccine and died. I have maybe a couple dozen people that I know directly who did not take the vaccine and then they died. That's the only. Whatever. I don't care about what fake ass Facebook and everybody else
It's not about fake ass Facebook. No, like
it's not.
If we're basing everything on this collected information, information is what people are basing their. Collected information is what people are basing their safety in this vaccine.
That's perfectly fine.
We can't decide when we are and we aren't going to use the information. Like
forget all of that. Forget all of that. I'm going off of personal experience.
Right, but the world is bigger than personal experience. These things are happening bigger than personal experience.
All of that other shit is fake to me. What's real to me is people who've gotten vaccinated have not died, and I've known a couple dozen people who've died and they did not get vaccinated either because it was before it was available or it was after and they just didn't decide to do it. That's the
they were probably the people, and they were the people who got infected with COVID who were supposed to get infected with COVID and die. People who were generally not well. It served its purpose. If population control totally works. 70% of the people who died from COVID were obese individuals. There's so many layers we can go with this, but to say that it's safe, it may make you feel safe.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
But
if you're saying that more people in your experience have died from the vaccine versus dying from COVID, then I understand what you're saying.
Well, they died from COVID post-vaccine. They didn't necessarily. I can't say they died from the vaccine, but they died with COVID post-vaccine. But again,
do you know? Let me ask you this: do you know more people who died post-vaccine or unvaccinated that have died?
Post-vaccine, almost everybody's numbers have gone up since everybody started getting jabbed.
So
since the mutations and most people didn't know anybody last year that died, but everybody knows somebody this year that's died.
I know people last year and this year.
Obviously, people did die last year.
People who've died more from after getting the vaccine than not being vaccinated at all. Then I understand what you're saying.
Your experience.
But
my stance was the same when this shit started March of 2020. Like I never wavered. For me, it wasn't an option.
For anybody, no matter who you are, whether it's you or me, stop looking at what the media says. Tell you what your eyes are seeing. For me, the people that I know,
right? Tell us what our eyes are seeing, right?
Those are the people who died. I have not seen one person yet in my experience after taking the vaccine that they've died after catching COVID. So for me, that's all the information that I need to know. Anything else to me is foolish. So the reason why you don't get the vaccine, that makes sense if you've seen more people die after getting the jab.
I mean, I wouldn't have got the vaccine. Well before people started dying in my personal life.
Time out.
That's just me.
Has anybody
I was just trying to tell a story about my backyard, but sure, Go ahead, Tier.
Well, Nikki been wanting to talk about it, so let's go.
I don't. I didn't want to talk about it.
That's good.
I don't want to. I got off of Facebook to stop having this conversation with people, so I didn't want to talk about it. But if you're gonna bring it up, I'm gonna mention it.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Has anybody on this call have had COVID besides me?
I'm not sure. I feel like I did have it before it was actually noticed. Like it was before it actually came
like
out.
November, December, January, when everybody was sick for months and couldn't get well.
I think I got it in January. I think
my daughter too.
In January, but I'm not sure. That's my answer.
The reason why I say this, right? Because I'm in a very unique position to just give my perspective on it, right? Have it and had a terrible time with it.
Right.
I don't necessarily care what you do either or, long as I know what I do and I'm going to do what I do. Everybody else, if you get vaccinated, perfect. Get vaccinated. If you don't, perfect. Wear your mask. Stay your ass at home. I just don't get into the fights with either or. And I think that's what helped me not have to tussle with this so much. Right. Because, everybody has a point. Yeah, there's vaccinations. There's going to be something probably wrong or not good or who knows. Science is not a perfect thing. We do know all these things about how the government has done things wrong. And then at the same time, we do know vaccinations work. We have been evident because we have gotten vaccinations to go to school to prevent a lot of different diseases, right?
But a lot of diseases have also spawned from all of these increased childhood vaccinations too.
Absolutely.
So
it's all true.
But what I'm saying, so it's all true. Both parties is not like it's something just so morbid an idea. But what we have to do is what we're not doing is talking to each other and coming up with good solutions. All we're doing is fighting.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're here. We're in it. We know COVID's real. It's happening. Right? What do we do about it? What do we do about it? So we can either not get vaccinated, fine. Our solution is then what? Because this disease is still impacting a lot of people.
But what does the vaccination prevent? What is it doing? What's it doing that's so magical? That because you said, Tiara, if you're not vaccinated, good night. If you're not vaccinated, stay your ass at home. Well, what about the vaccinated people? They can pass it just as easily. They can. It's still communicable. But the attitude of if you're not vaccinated, stay your ass at home. But if you're vaccinated, you can go frolic and play, and you can rub bellies and bump noses with all these other people who potentially still have the COVID because vaccinated people pass it still.
What we do a lot of times is we get medication to lessen the symptoms of it, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop it any more than the vaccinated person. No. So to say vaccinated, so to say unvaccinated people need to stay their ass at home.
It's the difference between stopping it and not dying.
But people die after they get it.
But if it don't matter, if you feel that the vaccine don't work, then that's just a different experience.
I am totally fine with those who want to have it should totally get it. I don't care why a person gets it, but I have a problem with it being a mandate. That is a problem.
I do too.
That is a problem. If you want to, just like if you want to read the Bible and you want to do all that, fine. Do it at home. Don't do it at school. If you want to get the shot, that's totally fine. If you want to be out in public and do whatever you want to do, that's totally fine. But
do it at home or do it at school, but just don't force everybody to do it. You can do it.
I don't need nobody teaching religion to my child at school. That's not what we go to school for.
I didn't say teaching. I'm saying if someone decides they want to read the Bible,
then they can do that at church. They can do that at home. But at school, they learn.
They can do it at school too.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the fundamental problem.
I would say this about religion. I think it still should be studied. Even if you don't necessarily have to take a position in one particular religion that you are asphyxiated to, it still should be studied. I think you can still get good lessons.
All of them should be studied if you're going to study one.
That's religion.
But we live in a religious society. We are not in. We live in a Christian society.
Reading the Bible is not teaching religion.
Reading the Bible is definitely teaching about religious principle. Yes, it is. If you read the Bible, you're going to learn something. You're not going to learn nothing. No, you can subscribe to whatever you want to.
If I read Shakespeare or about the humpback whales, I'm gonna learn something. You can learn something from anything.
Yeah, but the humpback whale, the science of humpback whale does not dictate our education of society.
Nikki, do you know that one of my favorite people that I listen to is he's a religious professor and he's an atheist. You don't have to. Reading the Bible is not about religion or spirits. It's
learning about what is written in the book, and then you choose to go whichever direction you choose to go from there.
If that was the case, then there wouldn't be so many religions. Then
why aren't they teaching? Why are we not? Why are we not saluting Satan at church or at school? And why don't our monies have Satan on it? And why don't our philosophies in the courthouse? I mean.
I didn't say teach it. I didn't say teach it. I said.
I'm saying, but they won't. They won't. They take those books out of the school. They refuse. So I mean, it's cherry picking what works and what doesn't work.
It is, and that's why they can't get black race theory in schools either.
I want to go back to these vaccines.
That's white supremacy.
I got one more point to make about this.
And I didn't agree that they should teach it, but it should be available.
Go back to this backyard about these vaccines. So my only point was this, and I'm agreeing with everybody. Everybody can do their own thing, because I was telling my friend he got his own reasons. Do your own thing. But then you have to just respect that other people have different opinions about it. And so if we don't get to hang out until all of this clear up, then we don't. I got a different opinion about it. You got a different opinion about it. I think it's trying to cram it down each other's throats. But
that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Wait. I know. So I'm saying, but this is on both sides. Because
you're winning. We're being forced to get mandated to get vaccinated.
You're cramming right now.
You're cramming right now. You
because I'm telling the truth. Because I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth.
You're not even finished. That's the
mandates. It's being supported that children have to get vaccines to go back to school and before they go to work and they go to the hospital. So you're winning. You're winning. People are getting vaccinated.
This is the cram, Nikki. You're cramming.
I mean, I don't know.
You're cramming.
We agreed with you. I don't know. But it ain't just enough for us to agree.
When you say you have to respect somebody else's opinion, but you don't. When your opinion is the law of the land, it's not about respecting the other person's belief or opinion, because they're being forced now. So it's not about respecting the other people's thoughts about their body and their wishes for their body, because they're being forced to if they want to keep their job. So the other person's not being respected.
You don't think you're cramming either?
Myself.
No, I can't make anybody do anything.
Yes, and I'm talking about me. I'm not trying to make anybody do anything either. I've said that since the beginning. I don't want anybody to have to do anything they don't want to do. This country has issues with making people do things, and then we find out later that it was full of crap. So even if I believe it right now and someone else doesn't, I'm okay.
She froze when she was out. Ivory.
I don't agree with the mandate. All this mandating them doing, I don't agree with that. I don't like it. I really don't.
But that's what we're doing. That's what we're living. That's what the majority has.
I agree with you on all of that. All I'm just saying, for me and my family and the way I do things, I am more comfortable being around people who are vaccinated. A person who doesn't want to get vaccinated has to respect that too. This is the same way I respect you, and I don't want the government to slam it down your throat either. That's all.
Well, but that's not happening. Nobody's telling the government to stop slamming it down other people's throats. Other people like, well, I got it, so you should get it too. Or I got it, so it just makes me feel safer, so everybody should have it. When the reality is you're not safer.
Nikki,
crazy to me. It's like the biggest. It's like the greatest test or experiment of cognitive dissonance. And I do respect other people's decisions. That's why I don't generally have these conversations, because it is exhausting when people look. I heard something the other day that indoctrination and education are not the same thing. And that's the world in which I live. That's the world.
So do you feel everybody who takes the vaccine is indoctrinated?
I can't say that, but I feel
so you can't have a real conversation if you don't know that answer. You can't have a real
maybe
conversation
not.
with people.
Well, I
'Cause
don't know when. I don't know when they got it. I don't know when they got it. I don't know when.
From their own personal conviction, if they speak about it, if you're not sure of that, then you're still going to attach them to what the government is mandating on. Is trying to mandate, and that's just you talking about somebody just having their own personal belief in what they think is best for them and their family.
And that's, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But I think that indoctrination, you know, it goes far
But
deeper.
if you think we're being indoctrinated, then you're gonna have a response to it.
Well, I think a lot of people are being indoctrinated. I think a lot of people are indoctrinated. I think that it's easy to be indoctrinated. It's easier to stay in that space. So yes, that is my, you know, that's my personal issue, you know, unfortunately, with society at this time.
I don't think that you're indoctrinated. I think
I'm not. I'm educated. I'm educated.
I'm talking about from my perspective.
Right.
You've researched and you've gathered facts that fit for you and your family.
It's not about facts that fit for me and my family. It's just the facts that are available.
That's what everybody doing. And just don't. Your facts are not the facts. They're the facts.
No, they're not the facts. But you know, facts are facts. I mean, and that's just, you know. And everybody.
I don't think facts really are facts. The stuff, the way we try to say is things are a fact, then it's not. We don't even know enough about this virus to call anything a fact.
Right.
We don't know enough about polio to say what's a fact or what's not.
I mean, we've been watching this thing. We've been watching this sucker for going on 2 years now.
Everything that we're doing, unless you're a scientist and you really know, we're all speaking from subjective. You know, we're all looking subjectively.
And let me just say this, and I think this is where people butt heads and becomes a toxic conversation. We shame each other for whatever decision we make. If we're really believe the idea that we're free and free thinkers to free of choice of whatever you decide, then that should not come with a shame about it, you know. And I think that's what we're doing. A lot of shame is thrown around. It's not a healthy conversation when one person feels like this person is telling them this and that person is telling them that, instead of saying, hey, you are free to believe and free to do as you please, and that is okay for you and your family, and that's what it is.
But Tierra, I think that's what happens when there's more than one set of facts. Just like, and let me say this, religious people do that all the time. That's why I have an issue with a lot of them sometimes.
Well,
they think that everybody who don't subscribe to their religion are lost and misinformed, and they just don't know, and this and this. So then they speak toward them not like an educated or annoying person, but they look at you like you are indoctrinated or you're misinformed or you just don't get it. And with that, you can never have real conversations. So for the vaccinated people who look at the unvaxxers like y'all just don't get it, and the unvaxxed people look at the vax like, oh, y'all just as long as you look at another person in that light, then you're never going to be able to have what Ivory was talking about, like have a real respectable conversation to where respect where I am and I respect where you are. There's very few, and you know what, the people who are like that are really people like Ivory and Tierra. You don't hear them talking about it a lot because it's like, you do what worked for you. That's cool. And I don't, you don't see me on there talking about, what's stupid. Only thing I talk about is pragmatism. Tell me what you see with your eyes and your personal experience. And like I said, Nikki, you said from your personal experience, you got a different personal experience with the people that you know versus the people I know. It makes sense for you to do what you're doing versus with the people you know.
But I didn't decide this. This for me, this thinking was well before people died. It shouldn't take people to die to understand or not understand, because the information is so widely available. We just choose what we. We stand firm on what we believe in, and I'm not mad for somebody standing firm for what they believe in. What is infuriating for a lot of people who are choosing to not vaccinate for whatever reason that there is that we are not given a choice, and of the vaccinated community, the push to vaccinate everybody and to show passports and to force it on children, or to have kids go to school with masks on all day, or just the various things that are out there. The choice is not given to people who choose to exercise body autonomy. And you can say 100 different ways we have to respect each other and do all this and that, but nobody's respecting wishes like mine. Nobody's respecting that. The people who choose to, yes, it is when you are forced, right? But when the mass of society subscribes to the theory that if you don't get it, you're gonna die, or if you don't get it, the people who are vaccinated are on the side of the government. Or if you don't get it, if you get it, you're safer. If you get it, you're in better shape. When the mass of society believes that by getting it, they are safer in public than somebody who's not vaccinated,
that's not the same.
The whole agenda has been shifted. Yes, it is when you tell somebody that they can't go to do this or they can't do that because they've chosen body autonomy.
Do you feel that I have at any point in time shamed unvaccinated people?
No, you've been super neutral this whole entire time.
There's a lot of people like me.
I believe that. I believe that.
You know what? You don't hear those people because they're not gonna speak out against you. Those are
I do. I do hear those people. I do engage with people that certainly are neutral, or certainly who are neutral. Period. Who are just neutral. Who are inside and out neutral.
For this debate show, I wouldn't be talking about it at all. Like you wouldn't
hear. That's your world. That's your world in which you live. The world in which I live. These are conversations that me and the people that I deal with do have, or the people that I socialize with do have conversations about. That's just. I realize people have different conversations in different circles.
The people like me, or even Ivory, or even Tiara, who I ain't gonna speak on her business, but they say, hey, it's a personal decision. You do what you do. You don't what you don't. Don't shame people who do. Don't shame people who don't.
When you say stay your ass at home, that's not shaming. That's not pointing a finger, because I am not any less communicable than you are with the vaccine. And when we both get COVID, vaccinated or unvaccinated, our viral loads are very, very similar. So you are not any less of a threat than I am. But I have to stay my ass at home. So
it's not true, Nikki.
Yes, that is literally what was said. So I'm speaking to the sentiment of the majority. Well, I'm still talking, so you're talking on top of me.
We both talking over each other.
I'm still talking. I'm speaking about the majority of people. You talk over me
because you're triggered.
I'm not triggered.
You've been doing that for the last 15 minutes, but that's fine. I ain't tripping. We
don't have to have this conversation, because I don't care who gets vaccinated or not. I don't care who gets vaccinated or not. It's just unfortunate that those that choose not to are being penalized in multiple ways than those that don't. So I stay home. I just stay home. That's what I do. I stay home.
The people who you listen, the people who you hear saying stay your ass at home, those are not the people that I'm talking about.
Tiara just said it. Tiara just said it. Like,
you're on a debate show. Nikki,
it is the sentiment of majority. It is the sentiment of the mass of the population. The mass of the population is saying, "Stay your ass at home if you're not vaccinated."
You're not.
And I do, because I don't want to be around a bunch of vaccinated people. I stay home.
Being on this show, these conversations would not being had. Just like Tiara's talking about, she wouldn't be telling nobody to stay their ass at home or go. She wouldn't be saying any of that because she believes it's your personal opinion. Just for the sake of this debate show is the only reason that she's expressing that.
Right, and a lot of people express that same sentiment. It's a shared sentiment.
Who express those sentiments are not the people that we're talking about.
We're talking about the people.
I'm talking about the vast majority of people.
We're talking about the mass. We're talking about the mass.
I guess what we're missing here is that there's a lot of people. Really, you guys, the unvaccinated and vaccinated people have a lot in common. And y'all too busy being, people are too busy being polarized to not see where you do have in common with each other.
Religious people and atheists have a lot in common.
They have a lot in common.
So much. I'm like, y'all so similar. Y'all don't even know it.
You don't even know it. Based on what you feel is fit for you. At the end of the day, you guys spar over different things, but at the end of the day, it's really it's some commonality between unvaccinated people and vaccinated people, right? But we only see the negative, or we're polarized because of this or that, and we all
Back to
really
that Facebook.
the same thing.
Where did it come from? That's that polarizing
Where
conversation they
has
keep
this,
throwing at you.
where has it
And
been
you
so
know, I was just
polarized
gonna
like
say,
this?
my thing is like, we have to just remember the humanity, like to have so much humanity for each other in this season. Like, this is something crazy that none of us have ever experienced in our lifetime. And then there's shutdowns and people are dying, and
Right.
it is so crazy. And you know, my initial reaction, even when COVID first happened before the vaccine, was, some people was, you know, I'm in Christian communities, oh, have faith, you know, get on out there anyway.
Yeah.
Other people were like, stay your ass at home. So, and I was just like, in that moment, I was like, wow, why don't we have some more humanity for each other to just make the best freaking decision you know how to make in this moment? Same thing once the vaccine came out. I'm like, this is some scary stuff.
People
If
need
people want to get
reinforcement all the time.
vaccinated because they scared as hell, get vaccinated. If people don't want to get vaccinated because they scared as hell, don't get vaccinated. Like, where is the humanity for each other? Just going through something we've absolutely never been through before. And most of us don't know what to do. And we are gathering the facts that we think are the real facts, the facts that we think will help our lives go forward. And they're not matching a lot of times, right? But even in that, I'm finding humanity for other people. So I think that's kind of where we miss the humanity. But this is some messed up stuff.
That's a whole Facebook thing, Ivory. And they make you either for or you against. It's like polar all the time. So then, and this is a problem. So for people who get vaccinated and then they see somebody who died on that, see, they should have, you know, and it's like, what you mean?
No, like,
it's
not like
terrible all the way
they should have
around.
got vaccinated. No, yeah.
And like, you know, if they see somebody who got vaccinated and died, oh, see, they got vaccinated. And look, this is an unfortunate incident, and this is a terrible time that we living in right now, period. But you find people who want to point fingers. Say, see, like, I don't know. I had a mentor of mine a long time ago told me, pick your battles one day at a time. And what also that means is take care of what's in front of you first. You can't take care of everything at one time. So for me, I don't know. I don't trust the government. And I hope 10 years down the road that don't nothing crazy happen to me. I can't say for sure. I don't know.
you might
but
have
I know what's
left
in front of my face. I have family members and people that's close to me dying right now. Let me take care of that. That's for me. I take care of that first. I'm not negating everything that could. Yeah, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. And the fact that they're trying to force it on everybody just make me more and more curious. I'm like, this don't sound. But what I do know is I've lost a lot of people in the last year, and I know people that's my best of friends, and they tell me how close to death they were and how they almost died. And I heard Tierra talk about I couldn't breathe. Like, what that's the other stuff that I hear out there don't matter more than what I hear to the people that's close to me. And the people who either told me or wasn't able to tell me because they died, that's the thing that I take care of first, based upon my experience and my circle around me.
And let me just add this to this. I'm not vaccinated.
I heard you say that before. I wasn't gonna put that out there,
I'm not vaccinated, and I went through that shit. So, you know, so I'm telling you, I just really do what's best for you. No one's gonna tell you the damn truth. Everybody's gonna do something that benefits this or that. It is an intricate balance that we play in our society, you know. But at the end of the day, we're all in this together. So
yeah, we got to be compassionate for one another.
We can't just throw away. We can't throw away a group of people because they don't want to be vaccinated. You can't throw away another group of people because they are vaccinated. And I feel like that's what we're doing. Can you hear me?
Yes, no, I can hear you. That's why I was gonna say, be in it together. I don't think we all in this together, but we need to. We need to be in it together.
Yeah, we throwing each other away. Why are we doing that? You know,
Facebook. That's what she was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what she was talking about.
Yeah.
No, Ivory, over a period of time, they do specific. I don't know if you was in here earlier. They specifically create division. That's what they was talking about. I'm gonna send you a snippet of 60 Minutes where the woman, she was an executive.
It's clickbait. Everything's clickbait now.
But it ain't just about clickbait. They are streaming it directly to you. They're purposefully.
But that's still a study in human nature. That they know that human nature is to be more interested in the bad than the good.
But now you got people the way that you got. That's why you have people the way that you have them. You have these Trump supporters who love everything he loves and hate what he hate, and then you got these anti-Trump supporters who don't care if they get shot. It's like where's the love?
Right, and we throwing away
and be happy.
And my thing is that we're throwing away groups of people because of whatever they believe, and you believe in God, and I don't believe in God, and you believe in I'm like, why are we throwing each other away all of a sudden?
Right.
We shouldn't agree on everything. We get that. That's what makes America great. America was supposed to be a land that could bring a melting pot of people and ideas together.
Cancel culture has canceled that idea.
Mix and bowl, Tierra, not a melting pot.
Not a melting pot, mix and bowl.
A mix and bowl.
Cancel culture didn't change that. No, you believe and you think the way that we think, or otherwise you ain't a part of the group no more.
But like I said, I still think it always goes back to humanity. Like, I think that's something that social media has done. It's like taking away each other's humanity.
Yep.
Like you're a little
Facebook
less
is
human.
the
You're
devil.
a little less whatever because you don't agree with me.
This is gonna be our last episode. We
bad
definitely getting booted after this.
I can celebrate.
We are done. This is the last episode.
The last episode.
They ain't even gonna suspend us. They just like, it's cut.
Off to the YouTube we go.
Yeah,
off to the Telegram. Off to the Telegram we go.
That's okay.
I think the love aspect of your neighbor is totally destroyed. We used to care about each other, and we all used to not agree on everything, and that didn't matter. And it's sad because then you see it in our kids.
I know.
Our kids grow up that way too, and it's like we were supposed to be a better generation than the generation before us. But we're ended up looking a lot like what they are, and that's unfortunate. We always talk about that we ain't gonna be like that. Yet we're here.
We're here. But people, how are you gonna tell somebody they being brainwashed and they don't like?
See,
that's the whole thing about brainwashing. You don't know it.
That's somebody else clicking, not me.
It might be me.
That's probably Ivory. I bet you it's Ivory.
I swear
I claimed it. Shoot. My phone keeps dying, but okay.
Yeah, definitely Ivory.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, there's definitely like trigger words, right? Brainwash is a trigger word. I think everybody throws it around too much.
So you don't think it's valid in this situation? You don't think people are brainwashed now?
But I'm saying as soon as you say brainwash, you shut down a discussion because you instantly call the other people idiots. Like that's what
Oh no, she froze.
Shouldn't have muted, Ivory. Just let it click.
Basically say it to something about my intellect.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, you've insulted my intellect. So as soon as you throw, it's always trigger words. So as soon as you're saying, yeah, that group over there, yeah, they're brainwashed. Yeah, no discussion after you say I'm brainwashed.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying America's brainwashed on all sides. There's a few scragglers few free thinkers who still know how to think for themselves. But outside of that, it ain't. Nope. The whole country is a monopoly.
Oh God.
It is. I've been saying this for a while. This ain't even nothing new. They say that's when people get their feelings hurt. Like, what we do to change? We ain't. We ain't.
Unfortunately, it's indoctrinated in
the masses won't.
And our constitution of this type of brainwashing.
Think
or
about the
whatever you wanna
Matrix.
call it.
Let me go back to the Matrix.
Oh yeah,
the masses were not
set up to work the way it works.
There was a small group, a small individual, small tribe of people who were able to defect and unplug from the system. But the masses are always going to be a part of the system.
And you see it in everyday life. You have these what ifs. It's either this or it's either that. You got Democrat, you got Republican. It's no in between. It's no room.
And we don't.
There ain't even no room for anything else.
But it's been happening. That's what brainwashing ain't overnight. It's for a long period of time. And all we done known since the Whig and the Federalist Party, this was back in the 1700s. Right. We ain't had a 3-party system since then. Try to do the bull. Listen, the sitting president tried to create another party. That was Theodore Roosevelt, the Bull Moose Party, a popular president. He couldn't even win going by a third party. Creating a third party, he couldn't even win. And he was the most popular figure out there. That's how powerful this and you still think you got a choice. That's where the brainwashing come in. But it's been like that for so long, you don't think nothing wrong with it. That's how it's always been. Yeah, we can make change. We got a choice. We can do this.
And listen,
let's
be honest.
I take power back and
forth. To go to sleep pill every other day because sometimes you just need some peace.
Sometimes you gotta bite the bullet. Is that what you're saying, Ivory?
Sometimes I wipe my own brain. I brainwash myself just for some peace, and then I come back again. Sometimes you got to take the blue pill. You got to plug back in just to get some peace.
And I said that a while ago. I think
unplugged all the time. That ain't
people who think they always on the red pill. I said no. You take different pills. You take several pills a day. And some things you take the red pill and some things you take the blue pill every single day. We're on Facebook right now. This is a blue pill moment. After they told us, but people don't want to acknowledge that. They told us that they're causing friction between you and your brothers and your sisters and everybody on there. They told you that they block you out from 90% of the people who's supposed to be your friends.
I hate that.
And they only put on your post the things that's going to incite negative emotion out of you. They told you this, and we're on Facebook. This is a blue pill moment.
They
just
told
accept
you
it. You gotta accept
they
it.
even told you that they're selling your information for profit. I'm gonna take what you put on here and literally make profit off of it, store it, and then feed you what I want you based off of what you put on here, and we cool with that. They literally got our information, all y'all information. Okay, all of our information on this thread. They got all our information stored in the desert.
But we'll just bypass it. I'm gonna get on Google today, and then I'm gonna see the first thing pop up is gonna be something about the Bull Moose Party, and I'll be like, that's odd, and I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Don't you dare click on no ad Facebook give you because you finna get 15 more.
Man, what you said, it's freaky, but it's real, and we have became a part of that now. Like, we're not literally on the sidelines looking and deciding. We're actually engulfed in it.
Yeah.
It has overtaken us. You know how like when the agent would touch Neo and started to transform him?
Yes.
Or when they touch someone else, they would transform him? Same thing.
They
infected us. You know, and it was crazier, was more deadlier than the COVID virus or the vaccination or any of that. It's media. Media is deadly.
I was gonna say if you susceptible
media
that way,
deadly.
It's deadly. It's silent. It's.
Do y'all know I haven't watched the news in like a month?
I don't watch the news I
don't watch the news figured it out, y'all. No, really.
I've been asking people in my family, like, why are you still watching that stuff?
It took me so many years, but I'm like, these fear-mongering, selective liars. Like, why?
I'm to the point.
But I keep subjecting myself to this every day. Because
I don't even watch Trigger. I don't even click on triggering podcast anymore. Like, if you see a podcast title and it's like something that it's like propaganda. The title got propaganda in it. I won't even click on it and watch it.
Yeah, it's really sucking the life out of people, and it's really it causes an unduly stress on your brain when you see negative things, and we don't even know we have PTSD.
After negative thing after negative thing all day.
This post-traumatic stress. You think people ain't got it from being in the house from COVID?
And I feel like the news is feeding the pharmaceutical companies.
Oh,
they helping them.
Listen. Pharmaceutical companies are so corrupt. I read
they helping us have all these issues and depression and fears and all of this stuff so we can go get some medicine.
Absolutely. America is the most pill-taking country in the world.
Yeah, I definitely believe that.
Most prescriptions.
Who prescribes those? Who prescribes all those medications?
Doctors.
Doctors.
Oh yeah, they are pushed to
yeah, it's a whole system. It's literally a whole system.
Pharmaceutical sales reps come to the office and literally tell them, hey, we got this new drug, we want you to push it.
The more of these you prescribe, then we're gonna kick you back a percentage of it.
Yeah.
If it was not for this show, Free Thinkers and Black Tea Talk, I would have no idea what goes on at all. I don't pay any attention. And when you'll learn that it don't affect your as much stuff. It can have you in fear and on edge and stuff like that, but it don't affect your world. Most of that stuff don't affect your world. And if it comes to me, if I can avoid all of that stuff and it still come to me, then I know it's important. If it still found a way to get to me without me watching the news and being on social media and it still gets to me, then I'm okay. Well, maybe it's important if it still found a way to get to me. Outside of that, you just feeding yourself with fear for no reason.
Yeah, the news
of stuff that ain't never going stuff that's never going to directly affect you.
And like I won't watch the local news at all. Like
the local news been terrible.
Like I will watch national news, and I've stopped watching national news now.
I learned that by WGN.
But it's been years since I would watch the local news. Fire, rape,
murder, death, missing child, and then the Bulls won.
Whoa, they laid it on me in 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's it. All right, did we get it all out our systems? Are we finished or we done?
For this week. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to title this damn conversation. I'm like, shit, I gotta think about what I'm going to call this one. I got about 22. I got 22 green check marks of some shit I got to put on there.
Facebook devil. Facebook devil.
The poison of media.
Jeez Louise.
Relational devils, vaccine devils. It's just, call it the devil.
The devil. Something. I'll figure it out in the next 30 minutes. Hopefully, I'm gonna eat this delicious lentil Salisbury steak that I made for dinner tonight. Let me show you. I'm really proud of this. Hold on. I wonder if I can. Can I turn it around? I don't know if I can show it. I don't know how this works. Let me see. Hold on. I've been trying to make new recipes so I can stay on this healthy thing I'm doing.
Nick, you need a cooking show.
I'm on a healthy thing right now myself.
Okay.
Wait. Let me see. Hold on. Wait.
Now spin it around so I can see the steak. I need to see it.
That's a vegan steak?
It's a lentil Salisbury steak with mushroom gravy. And then, of course, mashed potatoes and green beans.
Is that the green beans or asparagus?
That's green beans, baby. That's green beans.
Green beans.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, I talk a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff, but I be about that shit though too. And at the end of the day, I hope that more than anything, I am not one of those people that talk out the side of my mouth type shit. So this food thing, is part of making a decision every time I put something into my body of nourishment, of, the way that the body is designed to function to hopefully keep me alive as long as I possibly can, So eating vegan for me is not, like some hippy dippy cool thing to do, right? Because that's what people are doing this year. Like, you know, there's a lot that goes into, you know, just the lifestyle of really and truly subscribing to your body as a temple. So I'm passionate about the things I'm passionate about, not because you know, it's a trend or it's a fad. Like, there's a lot more to this for a lot of us free thinkers and outside of the box, and you know, different people, I guess. I don't know what you call it. You call me a conspiracy theorist, Q.
You say that more than I say that.
You said it last week. I was like, damn you.
I only say it because you say it. That's me.
Because that's that's the word that people identify with it most. You know, it's just
right.
I live in my truth, and it's not just my truth. I mean, the body isn't designed to eat meat and dairy and all those other things, right? So, like, you know, it's not about those are my truths. That's like the truth, right? So the food thing just kind of goes along with just a higher self tapping into.
Education. You with the flat earth, that's conspiracy theory, but
well, that's just. I mean, we shall see. We'll find out one day. Who knows?
I mean, no. Listen, the earth is round is a theory. Like, if you ain't been outside, then you just don't know.
I mean, and really, that should be the answer that anybody says, right? It's when I don't know because I don't know, but I do know. If you look at this, and you look at this, and the one and one don't add up, like, well, you know, but that's a whole nother conversation I will not get into. I'm not on free thinkers.
So we're not gonna do conspiracy next week. Conspiracy.
We can do conspiracy, but we ain't finna do. I'm not finna tap into flat Earth. I will not. I have learned.
I want to do one about spirituality.
In terms of what?
Yes.
Just what it means to you, or what it is, what it looks like, what it, you know, because I'm sure everybody has a different definition, right?
Yes.
Is there a different definition? Should it be just one thing?
I think people try to lump it number one and then number two.
Is that because it's trendy? Spirituality is trendy now.
It's trendy.
No, I think they tie it. People tied spirituality to how it's been presented to them, which is not actually spirituality, it's just religion. And I think that's the weird thing. But then it's and then I see a lot of people try to shit on spirituality when anyway, we can go into it later, but I think
we can do it next week. That would be kind of cool because I can
do that. And it's like yeah, we can talk about it later because I don't even want to go that deep into it. But yeah.
Well, I was gonna say too. I mean, and I know we're wrapping up, but just in the conversation of media, like another part of being more balanced is control your media. Like, this is a part of my media. You know, whether I'm on this show, if I don't do the show, I listen to the show. And so yeah, maybe some things Nikki say might sound like conspiracy theories to me, but the some of the other stuff about the food stuff and eating more healthy stuff and not eating stuff with a bunch of dye in it, you know, the first few times you
blue pill, that's my blue pill. I know she's telling the truth.
Right, but I'm saying this is what media,
take the blue pill.
This is why it's important
baby step.
The media you choose, because over time it is going to affect you when your mind hears what it thinks is some truth. So even though I could hear it 15 times and not change anything over time, subconsciously, I'm going to start to let that seep in and make changes. And that's negative or positive. And so you have to watch the media you consume, and you can consume media that has a positive impact on you. So I was going to tell you that, Nikki, like the food thing over time has had a positive impact on me. Now I ain't going vegan, but I eat way more fresh vegetables and things like that because you constantly hear that. It changes you know?
Make you think about it, make you be aware. Yeah, and not only, you know, brainwashing is not always negative. I mean, you can...
You're saying Nikki didn't brainwash.
No, I ain't talking about, I'm just saying even what I've been doing over the last 5 years, I consider what I've been doing for myself a form of brainwashing. I had a filthy mind that was conditioned by a lot of things that didn't make sense, and I had to wash those thoughts, and I had I had to recalibrate. Well, I mean, yeah, but people scared to say brainwashing. It's unlearning, but that's still another form of brainwashing. It's conditioning. Conditioning is a form of brainwashing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, really.
The Truth had a song talked about brainwash. But that's all right. You know, it's not. It don't have to be a bad thing. But anyway, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Nikki?
Nothing. All right. So next week we're going to talk about next week spirituality versus religion, or just spirituality by itself.
By itself.
Okay.
Well, but see, Tierra, that's the. That's my problem, Tierra. I don't think people know how to have that conversation absent of religion. So even when
then we're gonna do it.
Spirituality, then people are trying to revert back to religion. I'm like, that ain't even what I'm talking about.
Religion, people
trying
are
to
so
attach something to me that I ain't even.
Ugh.
Yeah, people get really yeah. So anyway, yeah, we can have a conversation about that.
Okay, well that gives us at least a week to try to get some thoughts together.
Yeah. And then we'll talk about vaccines and flat Earth.
No, we not. I done said all I'm gonna say on this goddamn show.
Hey,
look, I put it out. Look, it's on YouTube. Every time somebody want to challenge me, I'm like, go to the YouTube page. We have a show called Pro-Vax versus Vax, and go on ahead and click on that button right there.
I enjoyed this conversation. I really did.
I always enjoy the conversations, but you know, I don't have these conversations with everybody, and I'm not, and that's just what I've found to be the best thing for me, because at the end of the day, if I don't operate right, then nobody in my house operates right. So I don't engage in these conversations a whole lot, but I will engage on them on here, because I know that we can speak about these things as opposed to type about these things, or misunderstand what a person's principle is in some of these things, and that does get lost in translation when you are just engaging with people on social media by way of posting. So, when people are like, oh, I want to know, we'll go watch the show, because I'm not repeating myself. Go ahead, play. I won't.
I can pull the conversation out of you. I can get you talking about.
I mean, again, in certain situations and certain things, you damn skippy. But some people, nope, I won't. It goes back to that whole, I'm not wasting my time or yours. Like, there's just energy that goes out, and I'm very protective of my energy. And we all should be protective of our energy.
Don't cast your pearl among swine.
Do what?
Don't cast your pearl among swine. Back in the day, old folks used to try to tell that to girls, like, don't give up the goods, but that ain't really the thrust of what it meant. Pigs can eat slop. Like, why would you give a pig steak when they don't know the difference between steak and slop?
Right.
So don't cast something that's important or has value to something that can't acknowledge the value of it.
True.
Same thing with your information, your knowledge, your wisdom. If people they stuck on what they're gonna say, that's they have a swine mindset. So why would you cast pearl for people like that who don't have the capacity to
right. Well, we need to talk about that one night. Capacity, just people's capacities. Because that can go a lot of directions.
We're going to do these debates.
Okay.
It's happening. Trust me, that debate is going to happen.
Well, we'll talk about it offline. We'll figure out how we want to coordinate something.
Since they've done it, I'm going to let Ivory and Tierra spark it off first. I'm going to find a topic, and then y'all two going to spark it off first.
We need to have teams. No.
That's what I say. You really want to have a team.
It's gonna have team? I thought y'all was going to do it in standard format where you do your...
It's like at least 2 to 3 people teams.
Really? Okay.
On both sides. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you said the format. You said the format, and we'll do it.
Because this is what you do, Quinn. Like, one person could be your
Too bad we can't do that live.
Oh, we're gonna do it live. It's happening.
No,
live.
I mean like in person live, all of us in the one space live. That'd be so dope.
One person got facts and statistics and stuff, and then somebody, everybody has their own little role.
Then you got to counter once somebody else say something. You got to counter their point. All right, so just we'll talk about it. Ivory, Tierra, and then once we get the format down, then we're gonna do it. And we're gonna get a group of 3-on-3, and then we're just gonna make it happen.
All right,
that's gonna be fun. I'm ready
all
for
right.
that.
Stay tuned, y'all. If you're watching and you want to participate, obviously hit us up, get involved in the debates. We'll talk about some spirituality stuff next week. Did anybody have any news to share? Anything we need to know about?
Oh, next Monday, it's no longer Ivory Live. Me and Quentin are doing a show together. It's going to be called High IQ. Do y'all get High IQ? So that's your show next Monday. So I think next Monday we're just going to be talking about. Oh, you got it. I've seen when you got it, Nikki.
I like that.
And so we're just going to be talking about kind of our philosophy on life and kind of what has gotten us to where we are now in our thought processes. So that'll be the first show. So that's next Monday.
Exciting. Tiara, you got some news for us?
Well, you already know I secured a third location,
Woo,
so that's coming in
I
January.
seen that.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of hard work going into that.
See, girl.
Still doing the Black Wall Street. That's supposed to open October 30th, 31st weekend. So,
Oh wow,
It's
it's
awesome.
a lot.
God. I know. Are you back at work?
And
Like,
I'm back at work full time. Yes.
Whew, wait, do you sleep ever?
Insomnia. Yeah, I'm telling like I don't get no sleep right now. It's not a good thing, but it is because I just have so much going on. So like my brain is not shutting off at night.
Yeah, that's tough.
So I kind of will be glad after this October 30th and 31st because then I can transition to kind of some rest and then start planning for the next thing. But it's not all, you see what you see on social media, but it's a lot of hard work to go.
Oh yeah. Anybody who's ever opened a business or run a business knows that's just you seeing the pretty stuff right now.
You ain't seen
behind the scenes is killer.
And just like media, you see the good, everything you see good. You never see the bad.
Right?
All the struggle and stuff like that. So media.
Well, I mean, you showed the broken finger, so you did your service too.
Yeah, I did.
You kept it real.
I tried,
but it's tough,
but belly getting bigger. You gonna keep pushing.
Well, and you've inspired other people to, I mean, look what you've accomplished and during a fucking pandemic, So that's what this time was for, is for people like you and people who have passions and are just waiting to fucking jump. And look what jumping has turned into. 3 locations in a matter of a year. Like, it's inspiring other people.
It's unbelievable a little bit, but it's just
when you said that, I was like, oh my God, a 3rd location. I was like, how many of her are there? Have you cloned yourself? You can't be. It's like, oh my God. So kudos to you. My hat's off to you, man.
Yeah,
it's motivating. It's motivating to see.
So, well, just stay tuned. We'll do that. Let's do the debates. Let's do it all. I can't wait to see you guys' new show, Quinn and Ivory. I'm definitely be in tune for that. That's Monday, same time, right, Ivory? That you had it before.
Was it 8 p.m. Central? 8 Central?
9 Central.
Oh, 9 Central. Okay.
Oh man.
Monday night it is.
You forgot how late it was.
I forgot it was late. Oh, shoot.
Right, I need to go to bed.
My kids don't go to sleep till 8:30.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yup.
No, we good.
All right, that's it. It's a wrap. We had a good parking lot conversation tonight. It's 11:07.
All right, we're gonna be back on schedule next week. I'm sorry.
Thank y'all for hanging in there, though. Always thank y'all for hanging in there, being a part of this, and committing to hanging in here with us. We do check the comments, so when you watch this later, we will engage. Follow the YouTube channel. It's Freethinkers Worldwide. Share, like, love. Follow everybody here. You can follow Tiara with Comfort and Light. Ivory and Q will have their new page up maybe here soon, but certainly can follow them personally or on Freethinkers. And Conversation Rules the Nation, man. Be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Bye-bye.